Ah! Victory beers.
Sorry.
Winner beers.
Winner.
Only winners get a beer. Well, fortunately, here we are.
I don't have anything. Anyone, welcome to Everyone Racers.
Sorry, Erling.
He has no ears.
Oh, sorry. Is it loud?
No, you're loud.
You
Sorry.
were.
I
loud.
was loud.
I
Sorry.
know you're loud.
I'll edit it here. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Levichamp or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to another highly flammable Bacardi 151 episode. It is number 151. And because we are rum connoisseurs, Chris and I only joined this podcast and assumed that this is the farthest we could make it. We're out. See ya.
Thanks for listening, folks. It's been a great run.
Kidding. Bacardi 151 is named for its alcohol-proof level of 151. That is 75.5 alcohol by volume, much higher than typical run, which is at 35 to 45%. Bacardi 151 was sold in the United States from 1963 until its production was discontinued in 16. I did not actually know that. A year before we started this podcast. Hey.
Don't drink it, kids. Just
don't drink it. Light it on fire, though. Fun.
Did I miss anything? I ran to the beer fridge.
Yeah. Hopefully you're drinking 151. No, then we'll be all in this.
No. Don't drink it, kids.
Light it and yes.
It might as well be a
water.
It's almost pink. It's almost pink.
It's almost water. Anyway, okay, let's get the show started. If you're not driving a car, check out your bingo card. I think Jeff did it, updated it a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Weeks ago.
I just noticed that it was updated, so that tells you something.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
We should update it.
Get out your bingo card.
No, it's pretty good. Now that we're racing again, like the things on it actually apply.
That's true.
I might actually talk about these people or to these people. So let's get right on. What you working on, Jeff?
Well, we came home from a race. When I'm away at a race, two things typically happen. Something breaks in the house, or my dogs kill some sort of varmint.
Or they run away. That's also another popular one.
Or they run away. Since I've been home, 2 out of 3 of them have happened. Dogs killed a varmint today, had nothing to do with me, and something very odd broke in my house. Last week when we had the hurricane, whatever the heck that was, Isa, my son started saying that the back door was shocking him. And I was like, yeah, it's called static. Let the dogs out. Shut up. So he was putting on a glove and letting the dogs out. And I thought that was really weird. And I'm like, cut it out. It's not that bad. Shut up. So I went over and I touched the door handle. Like kind of do feel like the house is vibrating or something.
The tingle means it's working.
It tingled a little. Whatever.
He's adapting and overcoming. He's like, well, Dad says to harden up, so I'm just going to put this glove on because it hurts.
So I said, I really need to look into that after the race because I got a race to do. So I went to the race, So Monday, was it? Yeah, Monday or Tuesday? I can't remember what day it was. My wife grabbed the door handle and said, wow, that's electricity in that door handle.
The unmistakable feeling of electricity.
Yes.
From static to actual electric.
That is not static. That is alternating current. So she called out the electricians. And it seems that it was there's a leak in a wet piece of wet carpet that was causing it to, I don't know, transfer differently. It turns out about a year and a half ago, we had a door installed by a a professional carpenter, and he redid the aluminum flashing, and someone had run a wire under behind the vinyl siding and under the threshold of the door, and he hit it putting in the aluminum siding around the door.
With a
Yep.
nail.
A nail. Yep.
Why don't you
Here's a
just
tip.
fill in the parts that we did that Jeff didn't say?
Here's a safety tip. If you have an outside outlet and you want to run it across the back deck to another outside outlet, behind the vinyl siding is probably not the right place to put it.
Yep, that's
Okay.
in code.
Yeah. So 2 different electricians had to come out. It took them 4 hours of diagnostic to find it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Because he was taking apart the whole circuit and rechecking and trying to find where the break was. Is it between this plug and that plug? He had actually removed the entire door because he assumed that it was the door install. And then he also removed the screen door because I had put a screen door in, and that it still was transferring the electricity. And he found it, underneath the threshold. So yeah, they're coming out on Friday to put it all back together and make sure my bill is extra high.
Oh, that's awful.
Always good when the electricians are doing carpentry.
Yeah.
Which apparently, though, is better than carpenters doing electricity because it's how you ended up there.
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're actually not doing a lot of carpentry. They have to run a new wire in that circuit because they just basically snipped the one that was in the wrong location.
So for those keeping track, since we've started this podcast, that is the 3rd time Jeff's house has tried to kill him with electricity.
My wife reminded me it's actually the 4th time that the house has tried to kill us with electricity. She's in the background right now, so she'll probably
Hi,
be
Jen.
glad that I'm telling the story. So there was the time that the nail hit the wire, the one we just mentioned.
Mhm.
There was
She's
the
telling
outside
you.
light that melted. What was the third one? There was the.
She's still there, so she could tell you.
Yes, it'd be nice.
Was it?
Jen, we should mention, is one of the future co-hosts of the Everyone Not Racers podcast, which is going to be when my wife and his wife get together and complain about all of us.
Oh, dining room light. We had a
doing
dining
all-
room light that would blink, and it melted a junction box upstairs in the attic.
That
And
would
then,
because you talk about your neighbors called you and said there's sparks on your porch.
yeah, no, that was the outdoor light that
Okay.
melted. This is a different light that melted. And then at one point, condensation was coming out of our heating system, running through the fan in our bedroom and onto our electric blanket junction that I had just given Jen for, I think, her birthday or Christmas. Christmas, because
I didn't
obviously
think it was supposed to be this
winter.
warm. That's a little-
And
little too much.
it was literally going like zzz, 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 while she was trying to sleep, and she was like, "This isn't right." She's convinced that one was when I was trying to collect the insurance money.
Oh, please, if anyone's dying in that house, everyone knows it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, sketchy electrics. Don't do it. Who else has got something to do?
Mental. Tell us what you're doing.
I ended up staying one more day because I was not going to be able to. If I had to try to leave on Sunday, I would have had to leave in the middle of the race, and we'll get to why you didn't want to do that as we continue to talk. So I found a place in Farmington or whatever, about 30 miles outside of Boston.
Framingham.
That place, and stayed at a Red Roof Inn, and then got home Monday, and I've spent my time since then de-ruinifying everything, so washing all of my clothes and my bags and everything and getting everything packed back up, ready to go. And then today I was in the office, so I've had nothing interesting at all. Next week I've got lots planned, so next week I'll have plenty of what you're working on.
Great.
Cool. Chrissy, what are you doing?
Oh, okay, great, thanks. So last week we total scramble for the race, right? So we went on vacation, came back, then we needed to pack all of our stuff in a couple days, but including the car. So we did all that, drive to the race, have the race, come home, and I am just so happy to be home. I cleaned things, we did some laundry. It's like I'm back to normal workouts. I'm just like, I am just happy to just, stand and wash some dishes and not be rushing for things. And I wrote this before I ate dinner. And we had dinner. And I ate half my dinner in 3 breaths. And Chris looks at me and says, stop rushing. And I'm like, all I do the last 4 weeks have just been a rush. Get here, get there, stop, don't have time to eat dinner, basically standing. And now I'm just like, well, now I can just focus on things being here. And we'll probably go maybe on a small vacation this weekend. But really, don't have a whole lot of plans for the next couple weeks. And that makes me really happy. So here we are. Chris, tell me what you're working on.
Same stuff. We packed. We raced. We unpacked. Working. I drove the NSX today for the first time in weeks. That was nice.
I've been taking the Corvette to work because it's the only car I have with air conditioning.
Yep.
That's very sad. All right, let's move on. News and notes. Okay, so
I love that Chrissy's in a very echoey room. It sounds really cool when you do that.
It's like the whole bottom floor. I didn't realize it was that echoey. Okay. The new
No, but it's echoey in a good way. It sounds
okay, thanks.
It sounds like electronic, like fattening of voice. That never mind. Go on.
So we're talking about how we can be actually good at this game.
Yes.
Nope.
How about don't yawn into your mic before I talk? Thanks. Anyway, the new electric BMW 5 Series is apparently a few years away from production, but there's a few bits of that have leaked out, and it sounds pretty awesome. They're going to have a plug-in and a battery electric engines. But the battery electric M5, which is the BMW, has already been spotted road testing using the current generation platform, will feature.
Did you say M5?
Yes, it's the M5. I'm
Ooh.
sorry. This is the M5. Yes, the M5 is feature 250 kilowatt electric motor driving the front wheels, two 250 kilowatt motors driving the rear wheels. As a result, the output will be 1,000 horsepower.
Oh,
What? Which will enable it to blast from 0 to 62 in 2.9 seconds.
Holy crap.
If it
That's
sounds
motorcycle territory.
If it sounds ludicrous, that's because that's what they're aiming for, and they're trying to rival Tesla's ludicrous mode. So there's a link, an Auto Week link in our show notes probably, but it goes extensively on what else is going on. But it sounded kind of fun because 1,000 horsepower, who needs that? But it's also being an M5. Why not?
Everyone needs it.
yeah. I need that.
Totes.
So Uber, all you California peeps out there, this is for you. Uber might temporarily shut down California. See, there's this court ruling on employee status, and if you haven't been following this, you haven't really been paying attention because a couple of states are struggling with this. There's an article on Drive that we'll link in the show notes, but a judge from the San Francisco Superior Court has ruled that gig workers deserve the protections that regular employees receive. So if you are a gig worker, meaning that you just put your house up a couple times on Trello, or Trello's the car rental, I think, VBRO,
Airbnb, yeah.
Airbnb, or if you are a temporary driver for Uber or Lyft, you got to have all those standard protections. So Uber and Lyft have 10 days to appeal the decision. However, Uber's
Which they will.
Of course they will. Already told MSNBC that if the ruling goes in law, Uber will have to pull out of California at least until November to restructure. So
this may actually directly impact my employment. So,
Well, and
not kidding.
I was talking with a guy here. He's doing some traveling, and apparently in Las Vegas with the Rona and the way the benefits are going, there are 2 Ubers. That's it. Just 2 guys. It's Steve and Diane, and they're the only ones. And if you don't like their rates, well, they don't care. It's just with as few people traveling, especially to the city, a lot of them have backed out because it makes no sense for them to keep putting that kind of wear and tear on their car. And so, I imagine
or catch the Rona. Also, don't want to do that.
I was gonna say I don't think they care about the wear and the tear in the car. When we got that Uber in Vegas last time, every single dash light was lit. Every single one of them. There were lights there. I didn't know what they meant. There's a Dutchman hanging with a Cougar next to it. And
it was an Accord. It wasn't even like it was a Volkswagen. Right.
Yeah. Every light was that.
Fair. And so I haven't The last time I got into an Uber was 4th of July, and the guy had already fitted a plexiglass, kind of like almost a taxi cab deal to his Hyundai, his Tucson, for that reason. And on the little Uber app, it said, your driver expects you to be wearing a mask. So it's, I think that's certainly part of it. And then a lot of them, that's how they make that car payment is through the Uber. And if they're not getting Uber rides, well, then they're just going to get rid of the car.
Yeah.
Stop doing Uber and, find another means of employment.
All right. Protect your Ubers or protect your employees. You decide. Upcoming races.
Lucky Dog. We've been talking about them for a while now because this is going to be great. We're so sad we can't make it. They are running the Who Let the Dogs Out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We can't find the entrance list, but we know Garage Heroes is going to be there with 2 cars, and we know that Carl is going to be there with the BMW.
Oh, yay.
Beyond that, I don't really know. Maybe Mental does. Do you know?
Sloman, he's bringing his Ecotech
Toilet.
The toilet died last year. It was
that
damaged
crashed
beyond
hard.
repair.
Yeah.
So they went with the same running gear in a 280ZX. I believe they were testing it this weekend at a track day at Gateway Motorsports Park, whatever the one in St.
I think
Louis
I
is.
saw that.
And I think he might also be trying to bring that one down to the Lucky
Yeah,
Dog
the
race.
Slomans are definitely going to be there. I heard
Wow.
that on that other podcast.
The number 2 endurance racing
the
podcast.
second best
Okay.
podcast. Garage Heroes. I always call it Guitars Heroes in Garage Heroes in Training in your podcast feed, as if anyone listening to us doesn't also know that.
Seriously.
I'm sure there's
Bill,
going to be more.
Bill and the whole
plenty.
family will be there. Do we know how many cars they're taking?
2. The E36 and the Ombre.
Go Ombre.
Yep.
I will be disappointed if there is not a shot of the Ombre in the banking at Charlotte. That's
kind of cool.
That's a poster to put on my bedroom wall.
Supposedly there is a new theme for the Ombre.
Yes, they wouldn't tell us what it is.
No.
So
Not even close.
But having seen how they theme, I have zero doubt that it is going to be awesome.
Yep.
Superhero related, of course.
Yeah, but like you remember when they made their own life-size Spider-Man for the Spider Stang
Yes.
and the Hulk head. I mean, yeah, they theme hard.
They might theme harder than we do, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They'll get bored of it eventually, or tired,
Right?
not bored of it, tired of it.
Our theme is pretty good. We got a
It is.
Godzilla head and a Godzilla horn, and
I mean,
Yeah, remember-
Cheaties
remember-
is tight.
Remember we rethemed every single race?
Yeah, I hated that.
for like 10 races.
That was great.
it was a
Until
little
it
much.
wasn't.
Right, exactly.
If you notice once like a
Recent race results. Go ahead, Matt. So you can finish your son.
I was going to say, a lot of the front runner teams, they just get tired of doing that. We're just going to run this thing for the whole year. Like the Toyolette, it stayed the Toyolette for a while. The Cheaties car. The FRS's ugly uncle. All of your pointy end cars are like, it's so much.
It's because they're building all those extra wings and stuff. It takes a lot. It's harder to be. We know for a fact that the head, whether it be Godzilla or giraffe, slows us down.
Oh yeah.
We've tested
But-
both ways.
It slows us down aerodynamically, but I think it helps us in traffic.
And
You could be
when
right.
people say
see
when it comes up
coming.
next to them, they can see it.
But on that, so the good folks at Champ Car were at VAR for the Lifeline 24-hour Classic. 62 cars started. The Pinkies out. They've won before. They took 1 and 2 overall in the Land C class. Both the boring BMW winners did 533 laps. Behind them in third place was Pescaro Excelencia in a 2020 MX-5 Cup in the exceptional class. Fastest lap was taken by the good, bad, and the ugly in that 78 Chevy Corvette, which is like legitimately a Corvette, if I'm not mistaken. They just built the hell out of that thing, and they landed 56 overall. So very Corvette-like mechanical problems, no doubt. And on their, it was on their 16th lap, they ran a 208. Wow, 208.8 at VIR. That is stunning. Especially that early in the race. A class was Blake's Garage in a 2000 Miata. They were 5th overall. B class was Booksmart Motorsports in a 91 Acura. They were 14th overall. And if you get a chance, pop over to the Champ Car webpage and read the blog, because Bill got himself back into a race car. It had been over a year, and someone gave him a stint in one of their 944s. And he writes about how as soon as he goes on the track, I really am a lot more afraid than I used to be, because I haven't done this in a while. And it's a really like kind of an honest thing. And Bill's a talented kind of presenter. So check that out. And congrats to all those guys. I've run that race. VIR is amazing.
Cool. That Corvette must have broke like right after it set the fast lap,
Which again, that's what Corvettes do.
Yeah. World Racing League was at High Plains Raceway Saturday. Big Mission Motorsports in GP1 won the GP number 1. They won the race with 217 laps. Second was WTW Racing. Their GTO took second on the same lap, 85 seconds back. Choice Racing. Yeah, that's close until we talk about the Lemons.
Right? I as I'm putting these together, I was like, oh, we got to talk about this. They're on the same lap.
That's still close. Let's
close,
you know,
sure.
Yeah.
Choice Racing GP2 took third. Sweet Spot Racing 18th overall with the fastest lap of 2 minutes flat, 8:62. 8:62.
Wow. Also fast.
Sunday, WTW had the fastest lap and won. Big Mission in second and Montgomery Motorsports in third. Todd Carver and Rocksteady Racing Miata took 9th on Saturday and 10th on Sunday. Thanks, Todd, for checking in. Hello, Todd, for checking in.
Hello. Yes. So Lemons, we can't forget about them. The GP.
They had a race this weekend.
Lake Chargog, Manchagog, Bungagogmog. Class. We'll just skip the winner, because who cares really about who won the race?
Bunch of drunken morons is what they are.
Least important. Class B was won by Overt Engineering and their WD 39 BMW. We've raced with them for a long time. Class C was won by Flame Car Racing and their Fire Damage BMW 2002. It just says Heroic Fix. You fixed these notes because you didn't like mine. So
sorry. Heroic Fix was the intergalactic, whatever, the guys with the TR8 who bought the Discovery. Bought the Land Rover Discovery, had it delivered to the track. Like the owner drove it to the track. Then they proceeded to pull the cylinder heads off and scrap the rest.
Yes. Well, and scrap meant it sat in the parking lot and says parts. So
it says
yes,
free. Yes.
It said parts. That's what it said.
If you follow our Instagram, you saw it, because
we had a story. We added it to our Instagram story.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I got screwed. Went to the 78 Subaru of Eastbound and Down, and finally got through tech Sunday morning and blew up after 3 laps. Oh, so sad. There was also another.
I think that's what you get for having a Smokey and the Bandit theme, really.
Yes.
At this point, especially on a car that is so far off. Like if it's a 78 Trans Am, fair
That's
enough.
what you got to do.
Maybe they're new to the series or something. So there's another I got screwed that I don't really care about. Judge's choice went to La Fiesta and their Ford Fiesta. Organizer's choice went to the 143 Ecotech powered Dodge Aspen of Neutralize and Destroy.
That was a great car. I loved that car.
It was a great car, but it was slow.
Yeah.
Very slow.
They were mostly out of the way, though.
They were. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The special regional award went to the consummate good guys of the Bravada team, Mario Kart, and Great Globs of Oil, who were actively working on someone else's street car as the race ended. And IOE went to the Sunbeam Rapier of the Roots of All Evil.
Also completely stayed out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah,
they did a good IOE line on the right. Thank you very much.
Never a problem.
Yeah.
No.
Listener feedback time. So we got some really surprising right at the end of the race live listener feedback. I don't know how many of you even know this. As we were furiously, frantically packing our trailers, a clapped out, potentially not really owned by U-Haul anymore, U-Haul box truck rolled by us with something terrible on the back and an open trailer, and they yelled out, "I love your podcast!" and I looked up and I was like, "Thank you!" And I thought, man, I should give them some stickers. So they were stopped at the bridge, because there's a bridge at Thompson. So I ran over it and I gave them stickers, and they said, "We got bingo last week." I have no
Awesome.
idea who you were.
Let us know who you are. This is so cool.
Tell us who you were. We have no idea who you were. I don't remember. I was still in shock and daze from the end of the race. I'll just say that. And
That's awesome. So we may have a new listener, but he's certainly a new follower on Instagram. My friend Chuck Squigliteria, who I inadvertently bought the VFR from. Our picture of Godzilla on Instagram wrote, "All race cars should have a mask-wearing dragon head on a pole." And I corrected him that it was a fully functional Godzilla. And then, while it roars, they won't let us make it breathe fire. To which he replied, "Well, that's stupid. Ferrari spit fire all the time and no one blinks." Okay, maybe catch fire is more accurate, but still. Thanks, Chuck.
After I saw that very large, what was the very large? Is it the Dodge Aspen? What was the
that was the gray one. Was the Dodge?
Yeah, that was definitely throwing some fire this weekend. I saw it.
When the Civic had a turbo, it used to spit some fire out the exhaust.
Yes.
Not anymore.
More on that. We should mention that we got so much interaction on our social media. So many people saying congratulations to us. Are we done bearing the lead? Can we say what they were congratulating us for?
No.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Thank you.
In case you haven't heard, the 4 people on this podcast won the GP Dulac Chargagagog. Woo! Get it out of your system.
Bye. Yep. Yay!
Is that a celebratory trombone?
We did it. It sounds exactly the same as
It
the
does.
trombone.
I'm like, that's not very.
Oh, we got
He
it.
Sounds
only,
like
he only plays 3 notes.
Sounds like a fart through a kazoo.
Not
I don't.
well.
But you got to
Yeah.
do the three notes on the sad trombone are down. The happy trombone is going to be up. Like that's right.
We don't need a trombone. You just do it.
I'll clean it with alcohol and I'll send it to your house, and you can be the.
No,
owner
you're
of the
doing a great
trombone.
job. You're doing a great job.
we need, what we
So-
need is we need a video that we can just default to of Eric, like playing like 4 different little segments of, happy trombone, sad trombone, and Imperial Death March.
Well, we're bearing the lead again.
right,
so
so-
many people thanked us. So many people congratulated us. So many people had such good things to say that we can't call you all out. But thank you all for coming to our social media and giving us some virtual love if you weren't there, or real love, because we got a lot of real love at the track. I think many people were happy to see us win.
It was humbling.
A great big aw shucks from us.
Yeah, it
Really,
was-
thanks guys.
Yeah, it was
was-
really happy. I'm really proud to
Okay,
just
hold on. Let's not go here. We have so much more. This is listener
We do.
feedback,
Go,
right?
go.
Like
Yeah,
this
we've
is
got
the
a
whole
lot to
show
unpack.
today. Okay,
listener
So just
feedback. Go done.
hold on for a little while.
Racer runner reaction.
Thank you. Let's keep going.
Hamza and I jumped in the booth with Ryan, aka Bearded Sim Racer, and of course Sean Yoder joined us, and we even briefly had one of the current Roush Cup drivers, and he was a Jetta Cup veteran. They ran 2 rally crosses at Phoenix's and then 2 at Sonoma, and a variety of completely ill-prepared cars, Skip Barbers, the Formula Renaults, 87s. It was awesome. If you're not into iRacing, you should at least join the Mixer channel with Bearded Sim Racer, or pop onto YouTube, pop onto Facebook, and check out the Bearded Sim Racer hosted I Suck at Racing events. This Sunday is going to be the Lime Rock Funduro, which is just always fun, because once we're all talking about the same race after a couple of hours, you're going to learn something about obscure 80s TV shows, human machine interaction. Hamza had some entire lecture on
When he was comparing his wife and your wife, I was in tears, laughing.
the reason
so hard.
I text my wife and say I'm on my way home is because I love her. The reason he texts is because he doesn't want to get shot. And I love that he had this wonderful view of humanity from a man who actually has what he calls the kitchen gun, which is to be delineated from. Anyway, and Hamza is always a joy. And the thing is Hamza's like Phil without the genitalia obsession. You're going to learn something listening to Hamza when he's on that show. It was just we had a great time.
Yeah. If you have not heard this, go to the Lemons YouTube channel and watch it. It's hilarious. Even if you don't care about the racing, just listen.
No, I mean, none of the announcers really care that much about
No.
the racing. So, no, we listened to that too on our ride home, which was nice. We put that on YouTube through the CarPlay and the stereo, in the RV, and
Made the
not
ride
RV,
go
the
much
car.
quicker. It was
Made
good.
the ride go quicker. Yeah, it was nice. Absolutely.
We had an E1R race, right?
We sure did. It was our regular Monday fun day. We a lot of us are pretty exhausted, and Uncle Dave killed his video card, so he wasn't there. But hey, Nate Shavine joined us and promptly ran away with the race, of course, even though Lamina was there to crash into him, and Alex Levinson was there for people to hit the pink and black Jetta, among others. So yeah, I have to say, the 87s on Lime Rock worked much better than I expected.
It was a great use of modulating the gas. Chrissy, if you were in there, you would have loved it because it was all about the difference between like 20%, 40%, 60%.
That's how you're supposed to drive the Civic.
60, 100,
Yep.
60, 40.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know who always modulates the gas? Chrissy's
Okay.
mom. Chrissy's whole family. Hi, Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's sister. Hi, all of those who are going to now listen and hear what in the hell Chrissy does on these weekends when she's out racing.
They know, but they don't know. Because there's so many people that don't know the story. Okay, Mental. Start this off. It's
All
Mental.
right. In our show notes, that's right, folks, we type up notes. You can't tell this, but we're actually highly organized. What I always do after we get done is I do a save as and then manipulate the notes, and we just add them throughout the week as we think of things. Or so that's the plan. Normally we end up furiously typing Wednesday, 15 minutes before the show goes. I typed these two words for the subject: Thompson Domination. And as it turns out, I was right. We're going to get into this, and I say this to my co-host, not to those who have downloaded this episode, because you already know how long this episode is going to be. We're going to go long. That's just how it is. Suck it up.
But we're going to tell the story that you all want to know. Truth. Like,
You
because people are
actually
asking
do.
about how this went down.
Yeah.
You've seen video, but you want to see how this all went down.
And that's Chrissy
you were-
saying that. Not
or you
mental,
were
not mental
watching
saying
on-
this is a great story. Chrissy saying this is a great story because it's a great story.
So many people were watching this on Race Monitor, going, "Oh,
How-
oh, and then no, and then oh, holy crap!"
And then
That's
and
my-
within 5 minutes, hey man, I'm really sorry. You guys did. Oh my God, what happened? You know?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
So,
get this on.
Go ahead.
This is
intro.
about to be a very us, as in the Four of Us centric podcast. And before we get there, I want to talk about the Cressida. Now, we've talked about the Cressida before. You guys even put a great social media post of the most of a picture of Godzilla, and they said the most
Successful, I think.
successful 3 p.m. car is right behind that in the garage. And we're talking about the Cressida. A mere 170 horses when it was new, and that's a junkyard motor in that car, if I'm not mistaken. They went through and like did it, but it's not bored and stroked or anything. So it's, what are we guessing? 160 maybe?
Who knows? It's never been to a dyno. It's never been
never
tested.
been to a
No, it
dyno.
isn't.
So 170 horsepower when the Cressida was new. A stock fuel tank. So Uncle Dave, Wartburger thief Aaron, Jim the Good Wakeman,
Thanks.
dishwashing fairy Steve took that Cheaties car to 3rd place overall. Not only did they finish on the lead lap, but they were less than a minute and 40 seconds from first. What has officially, we got an email yesterday, officially been called the closest race in the history of the Lemons series. Now,
Bingo.
I actually,
Really? I didn't even pull out a
Not
card
kidding.
today. Wow. What do you got?
Can't
We
see
can't
it.
see
If
it.
if you
All right,
if
you
you
can't
put
see
if you
Just
put
read it.
Mental tells a story that goes nowhere, I'm taking it off.
No, I got this one. That last one I needed was Mental get something correct. That was this. But I also had talk about winning, the free space in the middle, Las Vegas, and general Wakeman problems, which I think would classifies of Jeff telling the various
Hey.
ways his house tries to electrocute him.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
Hal's
Or
trying to
just
electrocute your
The
son.
half an hour
is
that
a
it's
Wakeman
before
problem.
the show started. That
also
should
counts
count.
as that too. Yeah.
That
Fair.
wasn't
All right.
General Wakeman. That was Wakeman works too much. But go on.
All right. So officially the closest race in Lemons. Now, this weekend, the Cressida did 515 laps, which is exactly the same amount of laps that we did. 41 of those laps, they were in first. 438 of those laps, they were in the top 5. They were in the top 10 for 506 laps. And of those mere 6 laps that they were not in the top 10, I'm sorry, 9 laps that they were not in the top 10, they were 11th. And this means this is coming from one of their drivers. 2 of the 6 stints that they drove had not been on the track for over a year. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
By comparison, the Civic did 81 laps in first. Only 390 were we in the top 5. And we were only in the top 10 for 451 laps. And we got as far down as 20. So again, you cannot say enough amazing things about the Cressida.
Let's talk career
about Uncle Dave and about
career statistics.
Throw the career statistics out there because that is also
So
awesomeness.
This car has started 17 times under the 3-Pedal Mafia banner. It has been top 20 14 times. It has been in the top 10 9 times. It has top 5'd 4 times, and the best finish was this week in 3rd.
Mm-hmm. And last year they were in 4th.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, oh man, we got to get more power. No, you don't. What you need is a rock solid team because their pit stops are
Faster than ours.
Also,
They are.
their gas cans are really fast, though.
They are. But I mean, these are,
That's part of it, though.
Aaron and Uncle Dave are some bigger people. They're great dudes. They're just big dudes. And the
Luxury mammals.
Yeah, the grace that they move around that car and get everything done that they need to done belies their size. And then just again, Uncle Dave is this super low-key, really, really smart guy, and so is Aaron. Aaron is this. If you talk to him for 2 sentences, you start thinking
low-key,
you start thinking he's a knuckle dragger, and then you talk to him for 4 sentences, you realize that Aaron is supremely intelligent, and they have really found the rhythm. Steve fits into that team so well. And everyone on that team. So what you need is a team and a reliable car. This is how you win. We're going to talk more about it, but it's going to be about us. But I can't get over the Cressida.
We had to do that first.
Yeah, totally.
So, but yeah. So if you guys want to come see us at a race, go see the Cressida. If you want to learn how to win, watch the Cressida. You want to watch how crazy people do stuff, watch us. We're a lot more entertaining.
Look at how not modified the Cressida is,
Yes.
and then look at how crazy the Honda is, and decide which one you'd rather make or work on.
Oh, I'll tell you, and I've literally never driven the Cressida, and it has to be cooler and more pleasant. And easier.
My brother reported on the way home. He thinks the Cressida is amazing. He's like, that thing is
especially since
fast.
He drove both this weekend.
So easy. And he says you just can put it where it needs to be and you can drive it until you empty the tank out because it's easy on the driver.
And all of us got out and almost fell over. Or fell over.
Yes.
And we said, this is the worst. And you're so hot. And they're just like, yeah. They're like how we did one lap in the SL CLS 63. You get out. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And we're like, dead, right?
And we'll talk about this. I have never given more in a race car, and that is the only time I've ever gotten out. And I drove a 4-hour stint. I got out of that car. And I'm like, oh god, my legs don't work.
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
All right,
let's do this because this is we're like an ADD.
So
we're
a
group of ADD kids here.
And we've had a few days to calm down. So Friday,
we're not calm. We're not calm.
Not calm down yet.
We're not calm. We're a lot calmer than we were Sunday.
Sure. True.
But so Friday, you guys had the whole thing. Actually, you guys all got there.
Can't
Thursday.
see it,
Can't
dude.
see it.
Hang on, I'm switching it. I know.
There you go. You guys all got there Thursday, and I was,
which was
busy traveling.
awesome.
So I'm just going to go and throw out, so my Friday, I had fish and chips at Baltimore's airport.
Woohoo! Overall.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there. We keep it on the desk while we're working.
Chris
Chris
is actually having it made into a ring like Tom Brady, so you just walk around.
What?
I thought he was going to bring it to bed, and then he was like, he was going to put it on the mantle, and I was like, no. He was like, what? I said, we're going to put it on the desk so we can look at it. At least if we're sitting there working, we might as well look at it. Okay. Friday. Mental ate some fish and chips, and we had a good time. Jeff, what did you do?
Friday.
Why
Why don't we start with Chris because Chris ran the first laps.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I waited till it wasn't raining, and I went out and got some gas.
Yeah,
That
we
was
want
nice.
gas. Yep.
Yeah, and I ran 8 laps to check the car. I wanted to get a heat cycle on the new rear tires because we switched. Previously, we had, well, I'll start off with the fronts, are 225 Hancooks RS4s, which are wonderful. The rears, we have a reverse stagger. We used to run RE71s on 205 with, and that worked, but they're wearing out super fast. Like we were getting like a race and a half out of them. It wasn't working out well. So we decided to try Hancooks in the back. They make the 195 Hancooks are about the same as everyone else's 205. So we put those in the back and wanted to see how they were. So we went out on without changing anything, and the car drove really well. And I set a new personal and car best at Thompson down to a 125.5. Proved
That
everything worked.
So gross.
I'm sorry.
That's
fast.
It's
That's
fast. Okay.
So if I had more than 8 laps, I probably could have gotten a 124 something, but I said, no, that's good enough. And I came in and we did the tire temps and took a pound out of the rear tires and moved the sway bar 1 notch and said, that's good. We're good. All right, you guys drive it. So balance was perfect. I really like the way the car handles now better than it did before. Like it's neutral. It will oversteer sometimes, but it's easy to catch.
I had a couple of oversteer incidents, and that was new for me. Yeah.
Yeah, because the balance
I caught it. But yeah.
Right.
Did we
That's
change
it.
the
You
bar before or after I tested?
before.
Okay.
It was
So, yeah.
more oversteery when I drove it before. So I put a 1 to the middle notch, and I think it's perfect because it will oversteer and it's easy to catch, but it doesn't understeer as much as it used to. So there we go.
So I went out and I did about 45 minutes. Chris handed it off to me. I think Chrissy, did you drive it first before me, I think?
No, I got in after you.
Okay, you got in
Because
after
you were
me.
dressed and we that's how we went. No,
Yeah. Because we were doing our Lemons Tech, so we were dressed and doing our Lemons Tech. By the way, if you want to find out about the race, about how we got in and logged in and all that, we're skipping all that. There's a video on our YouTube channel that tells that story, so you can find out
Several videos on our YouTube channel.
So how the alternator went in and all that other crap and who got in on time. But anyway, so I did a couple laps, and I had a first ever. Chris has a first ever in his fastest lap. I had a first ever in a testing day. I got a black flag during testing.
Why am I just hearing about this now?
Because I don't burn pod. I went out and checked the mirrors.
All weekend.
I know. I went out and I checked my mirrors and I got on the racing line and I tried to do one and I tried to get fast laps and I got to turn. What turn has the black flag comes off the thing?
7, 8.
Right as you're going down, you're coming out of the actual
Coming out of
the
the
bowl.
Super Bowl, and they got a black flag and it says 41, and I'm like, oh man, I must have forgot my hood pins or something. I don't know what's going on, but I gave a wave.
I'm
and
Jeff
said,
Wakeman. I don't miss.
Right? Do you know who I am?
I haven't
That's
done
what
anything.
mental does.
I haven't done anything wrong yet, as far as I know.
Did you mean to black flag me?
And, yeah, no, it was definitely me. They were like, right at me. So I pulled in, and he's like, I got to tell you about the blend line here at Thompson. You can't go over that blend line until you're at the end. And I went, oh my God, I know this.
Yeah.
And he lectured me for like a minute.
Wait, who was the one? Okay,
I
there
talked
we
about
go.
it on the podcast. I
Yeah.
totally did a blend line violation, and I totally tucked my tail between my legs and said, "Why, thank you, sir. I've never been to Thompson before."
You did not.
I did
Didn't
not
you
say
say
that. I'm
No,
joking.
you didn't.
Does a practice black flag warrant the wearing of the marital aid?
No.
We need a new one anyway. We don't have anymore.
We don't
Yeah.
have
Fair.
anymore.
Okay.
You'd have to
All right.
just duct tape the double ender to your head at that point.
Which would also be hilarious and fun.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure duct tape's sticking to that thing. It's filthy.
Hold your horses, because if there is a testing day black flag, I get it later. So I go out and I do about 30 minutes, and I'm really feeling the car, and I'm trying to get those. Chris said I could do it with 120. Not what just
125.
120. He said 120
No.
flat.
No,
Yeah.
what was the reference lap that you gave us?
125.
I gave you guys a 132, I thought.
Yeah. So I was trying really hard to get a 129. Really hard. I was overly trying. And I was over driving, because that's the mistake that I make when I drive. And I put 2 wheels into the grass on the straight, and I spun that sucker right in the middle of the straight.
It's testing, Jeff.
On testing day.
It's testing.
It's
Why are
testing
you
day.
doing that?
I don't know. Because I'm over driving, because I'm watching, because I'm trying to be Chris. So I pull immediately into the pits because it's on the straight and pit entrance is right there. And I come in and I have a conversation with Chris and Chrissy, and we reset my expectations.
You were pretty shaken. You
Yep.
were,
and
you were-
we brushed some of the dust off
Yeah,
most
yeah,
surfaces in the
Yeah.
car.
I wasn't shaken like I was scared. I was shaken like I can't do this in the race. Why
Correct.
am I driving wrong? Why am I overdriving?
Let's be honest, because that's not what you do.
But we identified it. Like it
We
was
did.
it was a good download, right? We came in,
Oh,
we
yeah.
knocked, and that was what was great about. I don't want to hijack your story, but and mine as well. We came in, we talked about it, we looked at things, we talked about data too later, but we had a good discussion of I'm doing this. Why is that happening? We figured it out. We figured out exactly what you did, and you were like, "Oh, I got it," and then fixed it.
Yes.
So,
Oh, got it. I'm an idiot.
no. I mean, when you there was you did something wrong, and then we figured it out.
And it was
Yeah, not idiot behavior,
Yeah, behavior. Exactly.
Right.
It's a behavior problem.
not a state of being.
So I went back out, did 15 or 20, I can't remember what I did, minutes, not laps,
Yeah.
15 or 20 minutes, and recentered myself and got back into the flow, and think I did a pretty decent set of laps. And I basically told Chris, like, I can do those speeds all day and never flag.
And those were like low 130s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I said I could do 131, 130s, 132s all day long, even in traffic, because that was my comfortable, do it right, not hair on fire laps.
Which is what
Sure.
we based our times on,
Yeah.
basically. Yes.
Well, I mean, I wasn't
Clean,
expecting any of
fast.
us to do 125s all day. That was a pretty much hair on
Yeah,
fire
but you
lap.
put that number and then you put
Right.
it in front of me, and
You're like, well, you could do that.
I could do 120. I could get within.
Well,
that.
and we'll
Nope.
talk later about what happens when you turn 5 127s in a row.
Right.
And I passed the car off to Chrissy.
Okay, so I took the car out. Took a little bit of warming up. It was hella hot. The outside was, which means you're in the oven in the hella hot. I was trying to figure out why I, did a bunch of laps. Couldn't figure out why I was doing really badly in turn 1 and 3. 3. Yeah, the hairpin. Is that 3?
Four is
four.
a hairpin.
4, yeah, 4. So I was like, I'm going 4 miles an hour. What is wrong with me? So after I came back in, did our little download, and said, I'm really just struggling with these corners. And here I realized that my eyes were down. I was doing a lot of check boxing. So I was like, okay, I'm looking at the apex, and then I am, so I'm slowing all the way down as I'm braking, coming up to the apex, looking at the apex, and then I'm not looking up, and it was just going really slow. So I realized when we looked at the data, wasn't going that slow, but realized that my eyes were really down for a bunch of these corners. So we did the HBD1 game of sticking some tape on your windshield and said, don't forget to look up. And I kept it there the whole time I was out in the car. So I went back out, tried that again, felt pretty good, pulled some data, comparing to Jeff's best lap that he felt comfortable, so not his best lap, but a good lap that we could compare to. And then Chris and I did a lot of data download and looked at my laps compared to Jeff's, and then my laps compared to Chris's. So we found some feedback, found some lines that I could do a little bit better, talked a lot about those things, and felt pretty good. So we also had some feedback time on Friday. We gave some, it must have been Friday. We gave some performance evaluations to each other. And there was a couple, so I found something that Jeff did well, so I gave him performance evaluation, and then he proceeded to give an HR violation. So we had some feedback time that was good. So after we got out of the car, I think,
people don't know us real well who listen to the
fine.
podcast.
Okay.
We should say what that is. Chrissy came over to me and said, Jeff, I have something to talk about, really serious to me. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And she's like, you put those lug nuts on like perfectly with the impact gun. And I'm like, yeah, it's like one ugga dugga, like, he said, but you did it excellent. And I just want to tell you that it is going to appear in your performance review. And so it was a complete joke. There was no actual
No, but I was
performance.
really happy that you did it well.
Sure,
And so I wanted
great.
to tell people that you did a good job.
And I jokingly said I would like to report to the head of HR a sexual harassment violation from our boss, Chris. He's not really the boss, but I said
Kind of like the boss.
Yeah, kind of like the boss.
He's
I
the
said,
boss. He's the boss.
I said earlier in the day he told me he had a quote problem with his belt and needed me to reach down there and grab it.
Okay. All right. That was a joke. I was really happy that you did a good job on the.
Sure.
A lot of people just use the impact gun and snug them. All of yours were good.
And he did a good job on those belts too. So
All right. Anyway.
all right.
We put Jim in the car. He had a good time. So that's why Jim he drove the Cressida and the Honda. So he has a really good comparison of which cars are easy to drive, which ones are not.
He was out for a while at the end of the day. It was like, if you're having fun, just stay out. Guess what? He stayed out till the checkers.
Yes, he did. So then we had a track walk with the Cressida team. It was a minimal group, but we had a really good conversation as we always do. So it wasn't too slow this time. Sometimes we've done 2-3 hours of track walks, but it's always nice to be able to see the track surface and figure out where all of the markers are and if the markers are in the same spots as they're supposed to be. We had warp workers, which was great. And then I went to bed early. And then Mental showed up. So that's how Friday went down. Anything to add on Friday?
No, I'll just say that
like
the track walk was fixed my turn 1 problem.
which was
Some discussion early apexing.
Okay.
Just turn 1? That picture that Bobbin took was not turn 1.
Oh, I was totally passing, so I had to have been because that was like not even close
I don't
to
know,
on
but
the
it was-
line.
You are not on the line. That was not good.
Yeah, and we really didn't do anything to the car that night. We checked the oil; it didn't really burn anything. We retorqued the wheels and looked at it and
we
pulled
talked
the
about that.
pulled the passenger seat.
Good
We did
idea.
that. Put the cool shirt in.
We talked about it was unsettling.
Yeah.
The car's ready.
Okay.
Good. Let's keep it that way.
Uh-huh.
I want to touch something, but I know I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's get into the race.
That's also avoiding HR violations right there.
That's right.
Okay.
Let's get to the race.
Saturday. Mental. You started us.
right.
I mean, you're on here though.
Yeah.
I am. I'm not important here. And to say that I'm on the team. I wasn't driving Saturday. I knew I wouldn't be driving Saturday. We discussed weeks ago, we were going with the same lineup we ran last year because it was an effective lineup. We just had mechanical problems. I'm going to say again, it filled my heart with utter joy to see Aaron suiting up and getting into the car. And for those who may not know at the track, Aaron is our dear friend and Wartburger thief who last year was diagnosed with leukemia. He has since put a size 13 racing boot up leukemia's backside. And that is the third Lemons racer I know to tell cancer to take a walk, and hopped into the car and he went out there and opened it up. Recognizing that I'm probably oversharing, Saturday, we as a team, we had a communications problem and I spent the evening annoyed, slamming doors, slamming tools around, being a butthead. And Chrissy stepped up and literally forced us all over to the side of the paddock and made us sit down, open up and talk. And to everyone on this podcast and this team's credit, they did. There was no digging. There was no having to work through these issues. Just immediately everyone was open and honest. And I really think that talk put us in a better place. But that was Saturday night. So, but yeah, Saturday I'm pit monkey, so I'm good.
Cool.
All right. I guess I'll go. I had a little
You
bit.
started the race.
But mental.
So you get to go
But those steaks were good though.
first. They were.
Say that.
Flesh. We just
I would
actually we just finished one today. It was.
I made enchiladas with that steak.
Oh yes, I had steak on a salad. We had steak in rice bowls, and yeah, I think that's
Some
it.
good steaks.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were delish. Yeah, and I'm glad that we had our conversation. So now this is like how the sausage is made. Occasionally, teammates have problems, and we figure it out and talk it through, and it's all good. Okay, so that was Saturday late, though. This is let's go back to Saturday morning, right? Okay, so Saturday morning, I had a little bit of pre-race jitters. I hate sitting around. It's like I said it was impending doom. Like it was, and then Chris was like, "It's not doom," and I'm like, "But I sit here and look at my watch, and I'm like, it's been it's only been 30 seconds. Like, I'm just like, let's get this race on. Right. And we also took pole. So I was in the front of the race. Yes, go ahead.
If you haven't seen those videos, check out our YouTube.
Right. Our YouTube.
They are awesome.
Our videos of pole. So
wait. I can link to other YouTube things right here. Right here. Somewhere around here. Click that link and you'll see the video.
Awesome. Okay, great.
But you can't link to our channel. It doesn't let us.
Yeah, you can.
All right.
We're going to find out. That's
yeah, we're going to find out.
Or if nothing shows up right now, then go look and watch it.
I didn't do it.
Our poll videos. So I don't know how to lead. I've never led a race, so I don't know how to do a lead lap. So I didn't realize that you were supposed to go slow. So I was driving around and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to race. I'm ready to race. And then I got yelled at by the flag stations because they're just like, slow down. And I was like, I didn't realize everybody had a bunch up. So now I know. Now, if you're going to ever lead the race, that's what you're supposed to do. You probably didn't know either.
You can't help it that you're naturally fast.
No, it's not naturally fast. It's just that I'm like ready to race, and I thought you were supposed to just drive. Like, I'm safe. I'm doing double yellow speed. I'm not going 10, which is what they wanted, and nobody told me. So anyway, okay. So the race starts. That's great. It took me a little bit to get warmed up. I try to keep my nose out of places, so some of those lower dropping down positions were made all good. I had a lot of mid shift. I had a lot of laps by myself. I don't like laps by myself. And this is something I forgot to mention on Fridays, that when you're racing by yourself, you're like, I'm not a hot lap person. I'm not a person that can just race and do the best you can and go as fast as you can and do it well. So I think when I had people to race, I picked it up. I go faster. I try to stay with other groups of traffic. So there's a couple slow laps in the middle, but I did pick it up. I perfected some corners. So I've been struggling with the bowl, or the what is it? That's seven, I think corner seven, through the NASCAR track. And I really couldn't get it. I couldn't get the line. We had this great line. We already talked about it. We looked at it while we did our track walk. Couldn't really get it. And finally, mid-race, I really picked it up. So I was really excited about that. I hadn't heard from anybody in a while, so I figured that's pretty typical unless they don't really need to tell me if I'm going fast enough. I have an iPad. The iPad was working the whole time, so I know my lap times, but unless somebody's going to talk to me about either not going fast enough, or I started rocking out a few of them, that's when I started hearing from people. I figured that would happen, so whatever. I was prepared to stay out till 12:30. Then I had some fuel starve. So this has Jeff and I concerned because this is how we lost New Hampshire, or at least one thing to contribute to how losing to New Hampshire is that Jeff ran out of gas.
Yes, I did.
Yes, he did. And Chris was like, I don't want to do a fuel pump this week. So really, we need to,
and that's how he sounds.
It's exactly how he's.
Mode. Like,
we should mention that we had a very prescribed and planned fuel window, and it was between 3:10 and 3:30.
Yours, yes.
Three hours.
Minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 hours.
3 hours
yes.
and 10 minutes, or 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
which we have been able to successfully do in the past.
Like every race.
Totally. Yeah, and sometimes I didn't have many yellows in my stint at all. I had a double yellow around 11, couple locals before then, but I was happy to have a little bit of a break. But we didn't have a whole lot of yellow to help with the fuel and make us, if we had a whole lot of double yellow in the beginning, we would have been able to assume that we had more fuel than we did. Yes, Mental.
And I remember when that double yellow came out, it was like, oh, thank God.
It was.
I'm so tired.
I just wanted to, you want a second to stretch your fingers, I know that some of these laps aren't as fast as you wanted them. So then I'm like, I just need a second, right.
And that was, you had like 2 hours where you were throwing down at that.
Yeah.
speed.
And so it's just really one of those things where you just need a second to just, stretch your fingers and rest a little. And especially since we've talked about how hot and how I was going to say my cool shirt was working for a while. I think I was the only one that had one of those. But it wasn't working, and still we had to sit in pit lane, and I was like, this still isn't working. And then you guys figured it out, but still had problems with that. So
and that is a flash forward to everything else that would happen over the weekend.
all right. So this is the boring part of the race. I'm sorry. So
it's not boring. I don't know if you've done some of the math on this. Keep telling your story. I'm sorry.
All right. So I kept driving, knowing that I fuel starve. I didn't know how to drive while having a fuel starve. We hadn't really talked about that. So I was kind of babying it. But apparently I could have been driving harder at some points, half throttle on straights. We didn't really talk about it until after I got out of the car.
Potential show topic for the
Sure.
future
How
is
to
the various levels of pushing, like how to deal with it with like strategy.
Great.
Because
Note it.
strategy could be don't go as fast.
Right. Yes, because we all had to do some fuel starve. I'm out. So
I got two things on that. One, because of that discussion that you and Chris had afterwards, that would help me on Sunday when I hit fuel starve. Two, now you're doing your very typical Chrissy humble. Oh, I'm Chrissy. I'm kind of okay. I want to point out now you did start in the lead, but there was a reason you went to the car first, is because we absolutely all four of us knew in our heart you were going to do the right thing. And I made this wise ass crack to Jeff and Chris at lap 34. At lap 34, you were in 20th place, and your lap time was a little bit closer to 2 minutes. By lap 36,
2 minutes is not there's a yellow there.
Right.
That's not like race pace.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're saying this. It's like,
no. At lap 36.
That's Sunbeam Rapier.
Right.
Speed.
At lap 36, you became on pace. And a couple laps after that, I turned to Chris and Jeff and I said, "Oh, Chrissy just remembered she's a race car driver."
Okay. I don't think this is very accurate to life here.
It is. No, I'm staring at the spreadsheet. On lap 34, you were in 20th place. When you brought the car in on lap 115, you were in 4th place. That means every 3 laps, you pass somebody. You pass somebody for position. So
you're making the story sound.
She went out there all kinds of chill until all the idiots broke their cars or did something stupid. And as soon as everybody settled into a rhythm, Chrissy went full Chrissy and became a race car driver. And I remember you said this when you got in the car. You had one goal, and that goal was bring it in top 5, and you brought it in 4th.
Yeah. The 2 minute is not a normal lap time. Just making sure that we're talking about this.
No. That's what I'm saying. I wanted to point out that's, it was that, but then you literally just turned, like after that, you turned around and went, "Oh,
whatever yellow."
I'm sure there was a yellow. I'm sure there was 2 yellows. I don't drive 2 minutes.
So I have to say that in the pits, when you called in and you're like, "We're getting fuel cut," like this was surprising. You were not supposed to get fuel cut at the time that you were at. Chris and I were looking at each other going, "What?"
Yeah, you had 2 good double yellows.
Huh?
Like, that's
there
strange.
can't be fuel cut. Like this was it was a quandary.
Sure, and I said, I'm going to tell you when I get one. That's how it's going to be. I'm going to tell you. You don't have to say, I'm not saying, "I'm coming in," like Jeff says. "I'm coming in." Yeah. Don't come in. "I'm coming in." All right. So I just said, I have fuel cut. It's here. I have identified that it is here. I will stay out until you tell me to. But when it gets worse, I'm going to tell you that it's getting worse. And of course, I don't know what bad is, but I don't want to play that game.
We could tell that you were getting more nervous on the radio about running out of fuel. And Chris and I were looking at each other like, well, maybe it's something else. Like it can't be fuel cut. Like maybe the fuel pump is like, we were thinking about other reasons other than another fuel pump. Other than out of fuel, because we should not have been out of fuel.
Okay, so I made it to 12:25.
Yeah,
that's when I came in.
Yeah,
4th place.
I got in the car. We knew that we're trying to get Chrissy to 3:30. We got her to 3:20, whatever. So I know I needed at least 3:10-ish. Would have been great. 3:15 or 3:20-ish would have been even better. And I went out in a conservative mode to like, okay, don't black flag. Like let's bring the speed up in a calm manner. The second I get on the track, I get passed by Momrath, who's leading the race at this point. And I'm like, damn it, I'm not up to speed yet. And she's already, I didn't know if it was who was in it. They're already by me. Damn it. Now, instead of 2 laps down, I am 3 laps down to Momrath. And that was unacceptable to me. So I started going faster and picked it up. I didn't I in my brain, the let's conserve a little in the beginning went out to, okay, get on pace like within 3 laps. So I kind of kicked it up a little and I got on pace and I started moving, and no fireworks. I did what I had to do. I was smooth. I was trying to go as fast as I can without putting my nose where it didn't belong. Last year, I dropped the splitter off of turn 1 and did some damage to it. And I was very sure that I was not going to do that again. And I just worked on perfecting what I had to do. And I did it for 3 hours. About an hour and 40 in, Momrath showed up behind me again in their pink and purple BMW E36.
Cheaters! Cheaters!
The full M3. Don't let him lie to you.
We love her to death, but she's a cheater.
And I don't know which driver was in it, but they got behind me, and I said, "Man, I'm only like an hour and 10 in. I got to hold them off." So I kicked it up for a good 20, 30 minutes and kept them behind me. And I couldn't maintain that pace and so I kind of let them by me and I followed them. And so it was almost 2 full hours before they got out of my sight. But I now knew in my head I was 4 laps down from what I assumed was the leader. And I don't know if this math was correct or not, because 10 minutes after getting into the car, the iPad stopped working. It overheated. And 10 seconds into the car, my headphones didn't work. So I had no radio communication and I had no lap times. So I was really...
You need some better earbuds. You keep having earbud problems.
It was totally the earbuds. I took them out afterwards, and they weren't my normal my normal helmet earbuds, and they were a problem. But anyway,
yep.
So I had no communication.
But then late in your shift, though, Momrath came in for a pit stop.
Exactly. This is what I was getting to. So
okay.
Later, I know that I'm 4 down, but I got to do the pace. Everything's going good. That felt like a good lap. That felt like a good lap. I'm not trying to shoot for 129 anymore, and I have no idea what my numbers are. I later found out that my numbers were like 31, 30, 32, in the low 30s again, exactly where I needed to be. But I was doing it by gut. And I was doing it smooth and fast and not taking chances. So then I see Momrath come in. They're on a fuel stop. They're on a driver change. I see them in the pits, and I pass them once, and I go, yes. I need another one so I don't lose any laps versus what Chrissy did, because that's my job. I have to maintain, if not improve, what Chrissy did. I pass him again in the lap, and I'm like, yes. Can I get a third? Now I'm a hot lap now. I'm like, go get a third. I pass him again a third time in the pit, and I'm like, man,
what?
There's no way I can get a fourth. I go by in the fourth, and they are actually.
Can I?
I go by a fourth time, and they're getting their belts checked, trying to get back on. Like, they're up by Ken, and I'm like, yeah! I'm on the lead lap.
So are we.
I'm on the lead lap. I was
we.
I'm in the car pumping my fists because I'm convinced I'm on the lead lap. I had about a half hour, 45 minutes to go on my shift, and I start getting fuel cut.
Yep, and Amanda lost a clutch.
So I never saw them again, but I immediately had to go into conservation mode because I knew that I needed to get to the window. And we were only about 2.5 hours in, 2:40 in, and I clipped it back a little. So I didn't get to celebrate my fist pumping by like, now I'm going to be the man and throw down some fast laps and put everybody in the dust. It was crap. Maintain. Do not run out of fuel. Do not run out of fuel.
And if you look at your lap times on the spreadsheet, actually some of your faster times during the last chunk of your shift, and you
had no iPad. I'm sure you said that before, but
right.
Like, you couldn't see what you were doing. So it's not
actually during a double yellow, I like swiped the sweat off my face with my glove, and I got the iPad working near the end.
We joked about this at HPDE, and you're like, you can type on that while you're driving. And I was like, we shouldn't do that.
But it would only last.
I wish I had known that trick because I couldn't get it to work during mine.
It might have been too hot by the time. Well,
you should have licked the glove to operate the iPad, but you can't do that in Rona time.
That poor iPad is so old and so hurt.
All right. Jeff, and you and Chrissy had made this contract last year, and you made the same contract this year. Chrissy's job, Chrissy's goal, she set this goal, was bring it in the top 5. And your goal was, I need to maintain or improve, which in fact you did. You put the car because you obviously during the pit stop, we lose some positions. Very quickly, you put it into 9th. About halfway through your stint, you're well into 6 and 5, and then you settle into 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then on lap 183, you've got it in 3rd. Yeah. And there you stay, except for a brief 2-lap period where somebody gets around you, and then you just issue a smackdown, and you are back in 3rd from lap 215 till you pit at lap 224.
Yeah, and I think we were on the lead lap. 3rd on the lead lap is when I think I pulled in.
And I'm building all this to a point, and it'll come in when I talk about my shift as well, is we stopped setting goals of time and we started setting goals of team placement, and we met those goals. Please continue.
End of my shift. We got out.
Yep. Had a good pit stop.
4 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yep. This is a nice pit
one.
stop. Yeah, for almost 20 gallons of gas and everything. That was good. That was a good job.
Yes. We put a lot of gas in that car.
Yeah.
I was fueling it, man. It was right under the cap.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
I get in. Car felt good. I did then notice, after thinking about all the fuel issues we were having, I looked down at the AFR gauge. Noticed it was in the 9s. That's really rich. It should be in the 11s.
What is an
12s
AFR
even.
gauge?
Air fuel ratio.
Thank you. And why is higher better than lower?
It's the ratio of air to fuel. You want it to be, really 12 is great for what kind of stuff we're doing. So 9 means we're burning 30% more fuel than we should be.
Okay.
And 12. That's just when you're at full throttle. The interim gives a little bit more so it doesn't get detonation. But anyway, getting fuel. So that gives me ideas about our fuel consumption, but the car felt good otherwise. I was being blocked for at least half of my shift, but managed to get past a lot of people and put the car up to 2nd. The first whole hour I ran in a fast but conserving fuel mode. I wasn't pushing, but I was keeping it quick. So doing a lot of 130, low 130s right there, not getting into the 120s because again, trying to keep the fuel in the tank. After about an hour, thinking, well, all right, I'm doing all right. Let's turn it on a bit. So that's when I turned it on a bit, got some faster times. But by hour 2, I had the first slight bit of fuel starvation hiccup at 5:30. So
way too early. But can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
I'd like to mention that my fastest lap was a 1:30.88, and it took you like 36 laps to beat my time. That's like the longest I've held the lap record while you were in the driving.
He wasn't trying.
I told you I was in fuel conservation
Yes,
mode.
he was. Shut up. Don't say that.
It was the best I could do, Jeff. That was it.
Thanks.
Yep, good. So, being blocked, it was a little tough. Trying to figure out ways around that. And, but we'll talk more about that for a Sunday shift because that's when it really came into play. So eventually, though, I had to change my driving style significantly and keep backing off more. It was in 2nd. It was behind the Cressida in 2nd. Cressida didn't start the day.
The Cressida was leading briefly, I think.
It was, and then eventually,
we were in 3rd, I think.
Yep. So eventually the Civic was down to 3rd because the Audi was in the lead, and then the Cressida, and then the Civic, and I was on pace to catch back up. I was up to 2nd behind the Audi, ahead of the Cressida, but then because of my fuel issues, I was driving in 5th and 6th gear only, like quarter to half throttle max, lifting
That's
in every
killer, isn't
like
it?
Lifting at like the start finish line, because in our car, when you're completely off the gas, it shuts the injectors off. So I was doing that a lot to try to save gas.
That was lap 295 until 317. You were in 2nd.
Yeah. So I lifted way off.
And who was in first? Do you know at that point?
The Audi.
The Audi. Okay.
The Audi was. And I was nursing on the track, trying to, keep it on the lead lap. And if I had known this was the last lap, I would have pushed a little harder because the Audi passed me in turn 10 right before the checker because I'm starving. I couldn't really do much, but I could have picked it up a little bit before then. But that put us one lap down at the end of the day in third place. Yes, Chrissy.
We talked a little bit about blocking, but we had to go into a mindset change during this shift. Yes. So Chris was getting very frustrated by a certain car that was blocking him. And so
I'll just describe what they were doing. This happened to me and to Mental and to me again later.
Sure. Thank you.
This car is a teammate of another car that was doing well. It was a fast car. Its fastest lap was actually slightly faster than the Honda's. It has more power than us. It has enormous tires, and it was being driven pretty well. They would stay just enough ahead of us that anytime they'd pull alongside a slower car, they'd kind of park it there.
Mm-hmm.
Just until
follow the slow car.
Yep, just until the point
stick
where
next to the slow car.
Right, exactly. So but like in the middle, so there wasn't enough room until the track widened where I would be able to get by. Then they would speed up very, very quickly until the next slower car came out, and they'd slow down again. Repeat the entire way around the track for a day and a half, basically. We'd get by, like there are plenty of times we get by, and we could stay ahead for a lap or two or a couple like that. But the problem is then they would just cut down the inside and dive bomb hard to the point where they basically would wipe off the nose of our car if we didn't ease off, and they could almost not keep it on the track, because they were so fast coming into it. We can't defend against that without breaking the car, really. So that was the kind of things we were dealing with. Mental.
And there's been a lot of debate in the various social medias. Certainly when you have multi-car teams, you point the people you like by, you don't hold them up, but you make the teams you don't like earn it. And we've been a part of that game on both ends, and I've got no hate for any of the multi-car teams that'll make you earn the paths. I'm down with all that. This was 10 levels beyond that. This is literally just swapping lanes, almost no concern for anyone else on the track, with one goal, and that was to impede whoever was in second place to a point of utter danger. There are multiple videos out there. This is not us whining. This is reality. Thank you.
And I wanted to say that there were other teams that they were also blocking who have
whoever was a threat
come to us. Yeah. And
along with plenty of teams who were not at all involved, who were mid-pack teams who just witnessed this and said, "Man, that was terrible."
What the F?
Yeah, exactly. I don't. Are we just going to talk about the blocking now? We're going to talk about it more later because I have something to say about it, but I can save it until we're talking Sunday.
I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit more about it tomorrow.
Yeah. Go ahead, because
tomorrow it became a real significant part of how I was driving on Sunday.
I want to talk about it on Sunday because that's what I viewed. Go ahead.
Okay.
Finish Saturday. So anyway, we finished Saturday.
Yeah, this is the end of Saturday. The Audi got by me in the next to last corner to put us one lap down. Unfortunately, I had no cool shirt the whole time. That was pretty sad because it was pretty hot. And
it was. I live in Las Vegas, and I had not sweat that much in months.
So that was sad. So when I got to the car, after 3 hours, I was really spent. Like usually, I get out of the car after a long shift, and I'm like, all right, feeling okay, no problem. This time I was rough. I had to cool down. I had to hydrate. I couldn't even eat dinner when it was ready. It just didn't feel like it. So it was the worst recovery for me ever because I just was overheated and dehydrated because without the cool shirt and a 3-hour stint in a hot ass car that demands a lot of the driver.
And who told you to harden the F up and get
everybody?
To work?
And I did.
Oh, everybody. Yes.
Everybody.
I thought
you
it was
sat
just
for a
me.
while. No, you sat for a
did.
while. I said you eat something and get out.
I said, you're done now. You can get to work.
Yeah. So next, don't worry, everybody. Next year, we're doing a better job with the cool shirt. We're having a positive displacement pump that I already bought before the race even.
The new show topic. We don't need that one this time.
Anyway, cool shirts next time. We'll fix that problem. Saturday night, we looked over the car. We swapped one tire for one of the used spares. We did pull the plugs to see how they looked, and all of them looked even. So then I looked at the fuel pressure gauge and noticed that it was at 60. This car should be more like 50. So we backed our fuel pressure off by 10. And that did help a bit. Not back to where it should have been, but a bit.
We'll get there.
We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Yeah. But Saturday night, fairly easy overall, I'll say. Pretty good.
We should mention the Cressida was still in second and on the lead lap.
Absolutely.
So the
Yes.
Cressida actually beat us on Saturday.
Yes, when I had to slow way the hell down, I gave the position back to the Cressida, no problem. I wasn't going to make him earn it because he caught me up. That was it.
No, but we definitely
Done.
had to have a restructure. Don't
That
try to
was,
win. We have a
Uncle
whole.
Dave?
Yeah.
I think so.
We actually, because Chris, you were getting quite upset at the blocking, and
Oh yeah.
we
Yeah.
told you Saturday, there's no trophy for Saturday. This is
Bring it in one piece.
do not
Finish.
engage. We'll smoke. And I said this on the radio. We'll smoke them tomorrow because we're going to have all the fuel and you're already in fuel conservation mode, and you and Mental will take them apart. So don't worry about it. Just come in third. Third will be fine.
I really would have liked to be on that lead lap though.
Yes.
That's
Absolutely.
unfortunate.
Absolutely. So,
Oh well.
but anyway, Saturday's over. Let's move to Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday doesn't start till noon.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
Saturday night, it doesn't, unfortunately, like with the COVID, it wasn't the same kind of
It
a
was
Northeast
not.
race on a Saturday when we don't start till noon the next day is usually
Epic.
off the hook.
Epic.
No,
Caligula.
no bonfire. Yeah.
Oh, epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would highly recommend everyone go check out the Miata 13B Instagram, as well as the Fail Inc. Instagram, because somehow they found a vacuum cleaner and were vacuuming the grass, and it just gets funnier from there.
There was definitely some drinking going on in that paddock. We should mention that from a safe distance, a socially physically distant, whatever. We did get visited by a few teams. Donnie sat around and ate chips and watched us, and who else came around? Alex came around.
Alex
Miata
came around.
13B.
Yeah. I mean,
And,
a lot of
few
people
teams.
did, and everybody was great. Either had master or were far enough away from
So
everybody.
it's not like we sat in a circle and only stared at each other.
We did a
but-
lot of that, though.
We did do a lot of that, and there was
We
no
did.
flip
It's true.
upping,
There was a lot of staring
dancing.
at Aaron eating a steak on a stick.
Yeah.
That was
Two, I
really-
think. Yes, because they were delicious.
All right, they
All
don't
right.
care about that. They want to hear about the
Sunday.
race.
Okay, Sunday. We drank a bunch on Saturday. We didn't have to do much, like we said. We didn't start till noon, so we all
What
had.
do you mean by we?
Okay, I drank a lot, but nothing happened. So then I went to sleep. It was fine. So then we didn't start till noon. So we had a lovely breakfast together. We got Mental in the car. He had a pep talk, and we started hyperventilating after that. So Mental, what did you do?
While I'm getting in the car, I'm trying to keep my Zen thing going on there, and you walked over and said, "What are your goals?" And they were kind of a vaporous thing of where I wanted to be, but you forced me.
That's almost shame. Yeah,
It is
you're
almost
one
shame.
step
I'm like,
off
how do we
from
get from shame to?
I don't know. I
You
don't have
forced-
an actual gong. Go on.
You forced me to verbalize and then concrete them. And we had talked about this. We had the Cressida starting in second, and we were starting in third. And I casually mentioned it, and I'm like, I would like to have our cars on grid first, because you can't start a race motor. They will friggin' crucify you. So you have to push them over to the paddock. I said, I would like our cars to be the first two cars and gridded up, just so everyone knows. Three Pedal Mafia is here. And that was where I was. I was very team centric at this point. And Chrissy, we're leaning against the Honda, and you said, what are your goals? And I said, when I get out of the car, I want them to know that they're not dealing with me. They're dealing with us. And I think that really set my mentality. Having to verbalize that put me in the right headspace to get in the car. I was,
Fantastic.
yeah, we did the iPad thing, and then it like went into sleep mode, then overheated, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. And like a couple times the FRS guys, which we haven't mentioned them, the FRS guys, very well driven, very fast, very clean.
Johnson's Toyota FRS is the
Toyota.
car.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the FRS is ugly on gold.
It's a Toyota Solara.
They rolled up on me, and I let them by because they just had it. And my mentality at the time is, I'm not in a race with you right now. My goal is I need to put this car into a spot where Chris can leverage it to finish out the day. And that is what guided my mentality. So we started out in third. I worked my way up to first. Even Aaron said, hey, as soon as it goes green, I'm going to point you by. And I said, Aaron, don't you dare. Aaron, you run your race. I haven't had a chance to be on the track yet. You know, I'm not ready to be up front. I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to get in my zone. And then when I get past you, it'll be organic and it'll be fine. And I'll let you know I'm there. And I think after a couple, I got to do my scroll over here to the Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, that happened lap 409. And I had started on lap 337. So, you know, good 20-ish or a good chunk of time had gone by before I moved into first. We were still a lap down behind the leaders.
It helped that Silly Nanny's car got a black flag for violating the blend line in the braking zone for 1.
And they did it
Same place
to block us. They did it not because they those 2 violations were in direct effort to stop us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they pulled in there and my, you know, so I just went going.
And again, I want to mention that I talked about this last episode. So it's not like we're making this up. I said that you can violate the bloodline at Thompson for your advantage, which is why it is a dangerous bloodline. Because coming into one in the fastest part of the track, it gets skinny. There's a blend line right there with a big, fat, wide lane that you can get into and pass people. And it's exactly what they did.
Unfortunately, this year they were calling people on it, which was
right.
I'm glad to see that.
And I was equally getting irritated with the blocking, which at this point has now gone from level 3 to level 4. They would go on to level 5. So I'm at level 4 of this blocking.
You were a little less vocal than Chris was, though. So we didn't really know that you were having so much experience of that. You were saying, wow, they're all over the place or annoying me. And then you would go quiet for a couple of laps. It wasn't a big deal. But Chris was saying every 3 turns, he'd be like, this is ridiculous. And so you were a little less vocal.
Yes, I was none less frustrated, but we were expecting it. And Chris was talking me through it. Look, man, they're going to do it. And you and I had this conversation when I got out of the car. One of the things you learned is if someone is doing something to deliberately impede you, at that point, they become predictable. If they become predictable, then you can come under my control and I can start making you do what I want. If I give you the input that you think you need. And that was really where my mind started to move into is I'm going to make them make mistakes. And a couple times I would get around them and then they would. And
when we talk about the end of Sunday, we're going to talk about how this came to our advantage finally.
Yes.
So.
And then they would slow down, way down, until I lapped them. And then the blocker car would get my way again, which immensely frustrating, but at the same point, a point of pride. Oh, I'm so good. You can't catch me. So you got to slow down and jerk me around again. I do remember this. This was my point of arrogance. On lap 395, I had my 128. That was my fastest lap at the time. Nowhere near the team record. And we'll talk about that in a minute. On lap 408, 409. 409, I made my one mental cocky call. And I said, hey, Chris, do you remember that time I passed a lead car twice during my shift to put us back in first place? And Chris, dead calm, goes, yeah. That was pretty cool. So I get the car in first place and I am on top of the world. I've settled into a really good rhythm. We're having a great time. And then fuel starve because we are having to on the throttle, off the throttle, on the throttle, off the throttle so much because of this level of aggressive blocking that our fuel consumption has gone right just out the window.
And how many hours into your 2.5 hour shift was that?
It was 2.5 hours. It was an hour and 45 minutes. In.
Oh, I thought it was even earlier than that.
From fuel starve to pit, it was just right about 45 minutes.
And it's the very first time you do it. It's always in turn 3, and it's just the quickest little.
It is absolutely.
You're like, is that it?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
And then when it happened the second time, I'm like, son of a.
Yep.
Damn it! You know, I was gonna totally dominate this. I was going to lap them like 3 more times and then get out like no big deal. I was going to be the friggin' king. Nah, fuel starve. This is really cool though. So fuel starve. Now initially Chris said, all right, coach me through it. And this was the conversation that Chris and Chrissy had that I just listened to. And we could do an entire episode on this, but he walked through this with talking to Chrissy. This is how you get this car around the track on a fuel starve. You attack in the corners. You roll out on the straights. You don't go foot to the floor. You don't take it to the red line. So I'm short shifting it 5,500, 6,000 RPMs. And that's how I'm doing. And what was a fourth, fifth, and sixth course became a fifth and sixth course. I was in fifth. In fact, I tried a couple times to see if I could do just fifth all the way around the track. I think once or twice I actually got it. That forced me to stay on the line and not think about just, I'm a race car driver, but really get to dance with the Civic. And done properly, I was in fifth before coming out of that final corner, before you go down to the straightaway. Because normally if you're winding it out, you hit fifth right as you crest the hill onto the straightaway, and the car unsettles a little bit because you've got no force on the tires and you're making that shift up to fifth. But I was getting to fifth early, and my times actually didn't drop that much. So there's a cosmic lesson in there about focusing on the line. So Ross Bentley kind of a deal on this one. And I just kept my Zen place. And the person that was jamming me up, I had to remind myself, I'm not racing them. I know who I'm racing. And the person I'm racing, the car that I'm racing, I'm beating. So that's,
Yeah. And that's kind of the same Zen that I was in. I was focused on Momrath and counting my laps.
Mhm.
I wasn't trying to do 129s and do the fastest lap possible.
No.
It was
pass
that guy, be safe, pass that
Right.
guy, do that right.
And I moved into like kind of a new place where, Chrissy asked me, what are your goals? When I get out of the car, everyone's going to know that they didn't go up against Mental. They went up against the 3-pedal Mafia. When I got out of the car, everyone knew you weren't racing Mental. You were racing the 3-pedal Mafia. And on that, now, not to say that a couple times when the blocking car would do something really stupid, I looked over and I deliberately would pull my shade down, because that is in fact one of those physically intimidating things. And I've got Mental written across my window shade. I'm like,
I hope he can't
Dude,
read it from there.
Did you stare at him the entire way down the
Right.
straight,
Like this.
like Ford versus Ferrari?
And they're like,
there was a couple of those. There was a couple of those. I looked
I'm
over.
going to defend Ford versus Ferrari for a moment here.
and I,
That's a
no,
really
but
long straight.
Yeah. And
That's true.
but I would look over and go, this is not going to play out the way you think it is. And later on, when I was talking to Chris on the radio, I said a phrase to you, and I don't want to spoil it on this, but more than once. Now, Chrissy said I wasn't on the radio being angry. Inside, I was frigging raging.
I mean,
like
you
four
told
times.
us not so many times.
No, 4 times I did the math on if I just friggin' go into him right now and put him into the wall, I could buy a new Civic EF hatch for this much, and an engine would cost me this much, and I could put a cage in it for this much, and Chris would be mad at me. He'd be mad at me for like 2 months. But then when the car showed up with a cage in it, and then I showed up to help the engine in it, he'd eventually forgive me, and it will totally be worth it to put him into the wall right now. And then Chris would be like, hey man, don't let him into your head. I'm like, oh, fine. Okay. Or whatever, So yes, I didn't verbalize any of that on the radio, but
Or some of it.
Same stuff was going through my head.
Mental and I had to talk each other off the ledge when we were in the car. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we both
But
know what's going on, and we just got to do it for each other. That's good.
I did the math on how much a new Godzilla would cost me, and it was almost worth it. But I wanted the team to do well. That was where my headset was. So got in the car in third, had the car in first. As I am making my in lap, my cool down lap to bring it into the pits, we get wrapped. They get around me one more time. It was horribly defeating. So I understand your pain on Saturday, Chris, because I'm like, damn it. But I was loosening the belts and I pulled in for a pit stop.
Yep. And it was a good pit stop.
It was
No
a great
problems
pit
there.
stop.
Yep. Got right back out and proceeded to immediately run into the back of the blocker car and got blocked for hours. Yep.
Yes.
And I was very angry about it.
Yes.
But then it became a strategy, though, if I pushed them hard enough, they had to go fast to stay ahead of me. They couldn't do what they were doing with Mental of let me go for a lap and then catch me back up. They had to stay ahead of me.
Yes.
So that's what we did. I pushed them as hard as I could push them.
And we kept calling that to you. I kept saying, you're still catching them. You're
and
being blocked.
Your
but you're-
times were good.
Yeah.
They weren't what you wanted them to be, but they were fine. Like you
Yeah.
were running 130s
Oh, I
or
know.
close to it. So
we
we were
were
like,
running very good lap times. We were passing the whole field, despite the fact that he had to stop it next to every time we went by the snipe, or the Sunbeam Rapier,
Sunbeam
Rapier, yeah.
or the diesel Cabrio that was surprisingly hard to pass because they were not lifting for anyone or
No.
anything.
No,
Because it would take them a week. to get
never
back up to
lift
speed.
in a
That's
diesel
yeah.
VW.
Right. Despite that, because he knew that if he gave an inch, I was going to be by him, and then he'd have to, dive bomb me to get back in front of you. So because of that, like, we kept going, but I had to drive the wheels off the car to be right on him all the time to take advantage of any mistake, and that cost us fuel. It did. Mental.
So 4-minute pit stop, one of our best full pit stops, I think, ever. And
That includes the outlap too, by the way.
yes. So we did, I pulled the car in second. We got the car back out in second. And within 8 laps, you were in first. And one of the points on there is, despite all of these efforts of blocking, and you would stay in first until lap 499, and this you were in first on lap 444.
Yep.
You were gaining. You were being aggressively blocked. There was a couple of times, like, I watched this because I was up on the bridge and I almost went over there. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to go over there and have words with them. They are threatening the life of my friend. But you were still picking up a half a second every lap.
And you should mention, we were in first and the Audi was in second at this point.
Yes. And Chris was gaining on that Audi half a second every lap.
Was making space. The distance between.
No, he
us
was about to
getting
lap it. He was a half a track in front of it, and he was gaining on it half a second every lap.
can we talk about what the paddock looks like at this point?
This is like an hour left to go in the race.
Yeah. So all 3 of us are so Chris, when Chris got in the car, he said, I want to hear about the lap times. I don't want to hear like you're doing good. He wants statuses. Where is everybody?
I need
Are these
data
people
for
in-
strategy.
Right. What am I doing? How far back is the car behind me every lap? So the 3 of us took turns, and eventually I bailed because I couldn't listen to it anymore. So we're all
There's
watching.
a spot on one of the tables that is so clean because she just scrubbed one spot.
I was like, I have to pack, and I basically didn't pack, but I had to pack because the whole paddock needed to be packed up, and that's what I was supposed to do. So I was hyperventilating. We all were. We were all in our own way. So
because the nanny's car was like 40 seconds behind us. We should say how close they were.
anywhere
Mental
from
says they were close to being lapped.
55.
It would go to 55 seconds. It would come down to 40. They would catch up because the blocking was working.
Yep.
It would drop back down to 59 seconds.
Right. But I did the averages, and Chris was putting a half a second on them every time.
Sure, but it
Sure.
wasn't.
When
It
you're
wasn't.
looking at
No,
race monitor,
it
you don't
wasn't.
care about averages.
Yeah.
You
It
had to draw that line out a while to see the average. And
No, I don't care about.
I'm down with you on that one.
They
It
were
was a
getting
tenuous
closer.
grip. And if I didn't keep up the heavy pressure on the Z,
Yes.
it was gonna force me back into like a losing 5 seconds a lap kind of thing, and that was
Mhm.
gonna go away real fast if I didn't keep the heavy pressure on the Z.
And you would lose 5 seconds a lap for 3 laps in a row because the blocking was working. And like, we wouldn't call it in. We were like, don't tell them. Don't tell them that it's down to 40.
But
And
then
you
I'd get by him and push
But
him.
then get
we'd
by
bang
him, and
off
then all of a
some-
sudden it would be like 55, 56,
Right.
57.
This
Yeah.
is like the longest 2 hours of our lives.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to say.
Now,
Like,
and
And
while
it's
I'm on the
only
radio-
longer when you're getting yelled at by Chrissy. Will you clean something?
it's like,
I'm
pull away the grill.
no, I'm
I'm
panicking.
not anywhere near
Leave
there.
me alone.
No,
I'm up
he
on the
was. No, oh well, not you, right? You were somewhere else. I said, you deal with Chris right now. I said, Jeff's sitting. I'm like, can you just clean the grill? Like, you can listen to the radio, you can look at
I'm
race
like
monitor.
staring at the race monitor. Like,
So, yes. So, to this end, now I had gotten in the car. When I got in the car, I'd met my goals. I'd set what I thought were lofty goals, and I'd met them. I don't think I've ever driven better. I've driven faster.
You
I don't
did
think I've,
you did
I don't think I've
a
ever
great
driven.
job out there. You set the car up. You set the car up in perfect spot. You passed the people who need to pass.
Right.
No flags, no wheels off. You didn't F any goats today.
Right.
Everything was great.
Stuck with the team goals. I have never gotten out of a car more exhausted ever in my life. And I mean, I got out and my legs were weak, and that's why I kept pacing while we were doing the pit thing, while you were holding the fire bottle. And then finally, when I caught my breath, I walked over and was like, this is happening. This is happening. This is what the car is doing, kind of a deal. And then we got you strapped in to go. And then I went and sat down in the garage, and Bobbin walked over. Was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, just give me a second." I pounded 3 bottles of water and then poured a 4th one over my head. So
yeah,
I thought to myself, "You will never be more emotionally or physically exhausted at a race." And a mere 2.5 hours later, as it turns out, I was totally wrong, because I am now experiencing all of your emotions while watching you drive.
And we should mention, while you're losing 5 seconds, gaining 3 seconds, losing 6 seconds, gaining 8 seconds, you're calling in going, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to be out of fuel.
This is when I start losing
I'm not going
fuel.
to be out of fuel. I'm getting fuel cut bad. Like, you're at 55 seconds going, it doesn't matter where I am. I'm not making it.
And between the 3 of us, we're like, we're not stopping. And Mitchell's like, we need to stop. We're like, we'll do it fast.
I was doing the math in my head, like, all right, if I backed up, I backed off enough that the blocker was still right there, but I had no chance to push them hard. So I knew I was going to start losing time. It's like, all right, well, if I lose 5 seconds a lap and I'm 50 seconds
I'm
ahead,
hyperventilating right now. I'm like literally getting upset.
This is while I'm turning like 129s, 130s. I'm like, well, okay, it's 50 seconds, 10 laps. It's a minute and a half. Like, it's 13 minutes. Nope, not there yet.
Like,
okay,
we can't do it.
Yeah,
we can't do it.
So then I come around 10, or just before I come around 10, I was coming out of the bowl and I see one yellow flag, and then I see a second, but it's not held up very well.
Oh yeah, don't go there. Don't go there yet.
We're not there yet. So we decide we are going to do a splash and go. We make the team decision. But
no.
I'm going to tell you.
Jeff, before we get there, the same team that has their blocker car out pulls out a 3rd car that has sat all weekend.
No, that's later.
No.
That happened after our pit, I thought.
I did too.
It was around similar times.
Yeah. Either way,
they sent it out at this time. It didn't do what the beamer rolling was what you're about to talk about, but they have now sent out a 3rd car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we should mention that we're all in the pit going, should we splash and go? No, I don't think we had a healthy debate on whether we should just try to not splash.
Can we make it back?
Because there's no way to splash and go in 50 seconds.
I think my words were, if we stay out, who knows what happens? I might have a chance. I said, if we come in, I lost it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, you totally said it. We're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. When we pulled in, so we got the fuel, we got to the wall. Mental and I were suited.
I'm still arguing the throw the 5 gallons in it, and I'm.
And I'm arguing against it, but we're against the wall waiting. And Mental has a radio and I don't. I'm in the helmet. I'm standing on the. No, I didn't have my helmet on. I'm standing on the wall, and I look over and I say, "The guy at start finish has a yellow flag in his hand. He has 2 yellow flags in his hand, but he's not. He looks like he's playing
questioning
with them. He's like wrapping them around the stick, like he's folding them up for the day. And I'm like watching him, like I am like staring at his soul, trying to figure out what he does. And I see him like kind of like playing with them, and he stacks them with one on one side of his hand and one on the other side, and he unfurls them. And he hasn't thrown them yet, and I'm waiting, and I'm looking, and Mental has wandered away.
Well,
Mental
he's on the other side of the
me.
RV. Like, he's not far.
I'm like, where the hell is Mental?
And this is when I'm seeing one guy pull one out, and then I see him playing with another one. This is like a turn 7 or something.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
He furls them, he sticks them out, and I start screaming, Rita!
Like the loudest you could possibly. The people think
And this
we're
is-
insane.
This is with like 25 minutes left in the race.
Exactly
It is.
25 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It is
Absolutely.
25 minutes.
I
Now,
don't have a
Chris-
radio. I'm fully suited. I have a cart
And
with
Chris-
5 gallons. I have
And
no
Chris
idea
gets
where
on the
Chris is.
radio. Chris on the radio and goes, "Hey, I think there's a yellow in turn what turn? Because it was a car that had rolled."
7-ish.
9.
Yeah,
Well,
car-
it
he
rolled
goes-
in 4, but it was
They
a
rolled-
9 that I
he
saw
goes-
it.
Yeah, he goes, "Hey, there's a yellow. There's a partial yellow." And I said, "It's a full course yellow. Come in." Meanwhile, Jeff, I can hear Jeff screaming in the background, and
Like,
Chris goes,
literally the
Chris
loudest.
goes, "No, I think it's just one of the turns." I'm like, "Chris, it's a full course yellow. Come in." No, I feel like. And meanwhile, Jeff is like, "I will murder you."
This is he's in murder voice. Yes. This
And
is
once I
happening.
came over the hill, because none of the other stations had it. Once I came over the hill and saw it start finish,
Yes.
that's the first I saw the double.
Yeah.
And then
And
darted into the pits.
I've actually watched this on the thing. You're on the radio going, Are you there? Are you there? Can I come in?
Oh my God.
It is full
Yeah.
course.
Oh my God.
Are you ready? I'm coming in.
Uh-huh.
Imagine,
Well, I mean,
imagine the Three Stooges,
Yeah.
except they've all just done a hit of crystal meth,
Yes.
and they're really, really worried about something, but they actually get it all right. That's how this pit stop went.
Yeah. So I
3
have
minutes.
watched the tape.
Yeah,
And
3
it
minutes and
is-
22 seconds.
It is 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes and 2 seconds between the time Chris pulls in and the time Chris pulls out.
I'm pulling it off of the race monitor.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but Jeff's watching the video.
I
of
watched
it
the
to
video.
see.
So
Correct.
that includes
out.
Bazinga getting its belts checked before you.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Ken.
So
checking
you
the
actually
belts.
had to sit there for another 10 seconds. It was exactly 2 minutes and 9 seconds between the time you hit the brakes and the time you accelerated out.
That's pretty awesome. So we had a belt problem.
We did.
And
We had a little fiddly.
Mental starts walking away, and we're like, "No, he needs help with the belts." And like,
What
oh,
happened? You said in the, video
surgical,
you said
the surgical
the
tubing,
tubing
had broken.
broke. Yeah.
Tubing broke, so it wasn't pulling it
Oh,
out.
it didn't
So it
pull
was
it
under
out.
my butt, so I had to get it out of my butt.
At
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point,
yeah.
I'm just
I know
like,
that.
"Do we need belts?" I mean, I guess they check the belts, but I'm just like, "Come on, like we don't need
Yeah,
belts right
Ken's
now."
going to check the belts
I
and send you
know.
back
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Ken cares about your safety very much.
So,
So, yeah.
a 2 minute splash and go. And so we have sent you out. Now that's 2 minutes of yellow, but you're
Yes.
now down. You're
on,
Fourth-
on the lead lap,
on the lead lap, but
Into fourth.
yeah,
but 50 seconds down
Yes.
on the
with
lead lap.
20 something
So
minutes left.
I was hyperventilating before. Now I am.
I watched the video today and I was hyperventilating watching the video.
Yeah. So I come out into
Nice.
the full course yellow, see the BMW that
And-
apparently had rolled at turn 4. I didn't know it had
and-
rolled. It just looked like it
and
took
do
a
you
heavy
know that
front hit.
Ken gave you a lecture? He's like, I just want to tell you that it's a full course yellow out there, and everybody sees these sectors. Like, I got it, Ken.
Let
got
me
it.
go!
Yep, got it. Yep. But you just sat there and waited for him to give his whole speech.
He's
before
so
you went
nice.
out. He is nice.
He's so nice.
He is nice. He is so nice.
So then I tear out of the pits, making sure to mind the blend line, by the way.
Good move.
Anyway, into full course yellow, catch back up to whoever's in front of me. It's not anyone that's going to block me. And
There are at this point 15 laps left in this race.
less than. This is less than
Now,
20 minutes
you
left.
you caught at lap 500 is when you pulled out. It
Okay,
was still
so it's
full course
15.
yellow, 2 minutes 20 seconds, and we did 515 laps. There are listeners. There are 15 laps left in this race.
And some of them under full course yellow.
Exactly.
So we did a few under yellow, and then we go. And I gave it all I had. This is when I
All
started
right.
cracking off some good lap times.
So this is at this point we know we got a full tank of gas, and
No,
the
we
gloves-
don't. We don't have that. We
Well,
don't
no.
No, we just
I
splashed.
knew,
I'm sorry,
I, knew
I'm
I had
sorry.
enough. I knew
We
I had
have
some
enough.
gas.
We have enough gas.
I had enough to do anything I wanted to do for
Except
20
then
minutes.
2 laps in, you're like, I'm getting caught again. You definitely said that.
He did, but we knew we had the fuel to
I
do
knew I
it.
had enough.
All right.
All right. Now, in these next 15 laps, Jeff, Chrissy, and I would experience emotional highs and lows higher than anything we got in all the weekend in 15 laps. But knowing that he has the fuel and now that he's bunched up, deep in the recesses of Chris's psyche, a secret security code is unlocked and a creature is unleashed. He doesn't care about times. He doesn't care about food or water or cool suits. All he cares about is passing the people in front of him. All we know is if the Stig saw this, it would be frightened. We know it was Chris off the chain.
Make her closer. Oh, that's all right. Is that it?
All right.
That's
That was
it.
great.
Thanks,
So I would like to say that after the fuel stop, I went, we freaking lost.
Yeah, we can't.
I went to put the rest of the fuel in the RV, like whatever. Chrissy's yelling at me.
I didn't believe it. I did not believe it.
I think
'Cause he was within 50 seconds, and I thought
I said I didn't think I didn't know whether we were going to
18
win or
minutes
lose.
and 50 seconds. That's really hard.
Yeah,
It's really hard.
it is. It's really hard.
I kept saying Chris is a super. Chris is great.
I
Chris
said
is really good.
he's going
he
to
is
put
not
on
a
a
s-
Superman cape,
He's not a super.
but it's they're either going to break or we're going to lose, and it's not. He'll do everything he can.
okay.
So
What
we're
happened in
out
the
of our
car?
hands.
Let's go.
Tell us.
So I get
lap 505 to lap 508.
I'm pretty sure I was turning 127s all of those laps
Yes, you were.
because I had no blocker, and I knew that this was if there's ever time to give it all of the revs and all of the gas and all of the gears,
Yes.
this is it.
And
So it did.
Jeff had a joke today about someone give Chris some aloe vera because the shift light gave him a sunburn.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, folks. Chris built the car. Chris gets to hurt the car.
I know where its limits are.
Yes.
So anyway, after those, that's when the Mustang, the third car, somehow is off in turn one and apparently broken.
At
However
lap.
that might have worked.
Listeners, do you remember how many laps we got?
Actually, it
515
was
515 laps.
Yeah.
This happens in lap 513.
Yeah.
Chris has gone from 50 seconds behind the leader to 5 seconds.
And I
The
see
words
them.
he says over the radio is, "I see them. I've got them."
So
This is the second to last lap.
I'm not even paying attention. I'm over fueling the RV, and I looked at my phone, and there's all these texts. And I'm like, and I look at it, and my father is texting me. He's like, "What in the hell is going on? Why are all these 127?" I said, "127s? What?"
Wait, you're literally not watching?
I
mean,
literally was
I'm hyperventilating,
sick
but
to my stomach, and I put it down because I couldn't
But
watch.
I had done this all afternoon, and then finally I'm just like, I can't. I have to
So
watch, I have to watch.
I went back out when the Mustang was on the yellow, and I was like, the yellow is going to make it worse.
It
Because
busted up.
if listeners, if you remember, this is the third car that they sent out to block, and it is now failed
They
and
park
caused
it
a
in.
yellow.
They park it in one, right? So I think
I don't think they did it. I think it broke. I don't think it was intentional.
Either
I
way.
don't know their
It-
intentions either
It
way.
bunched the field up a bit, and also in those laps I had before, I definitely had some help of some of our friends clearing the way for me. They would see me coming from behind.
Shout
they would
out
get
to
right
Punisher
out of the way.
GP, by the way.
Yep.
Totally.
I spoke to them.
Amanda Tully,
Matt
um,
Farinchek Racing did it.
Farinchek, Alex
Yes.
Levinson.
Globs of oil.
CISO Motorsports.
CISO,
Yeah.
Oh God, we could do this all day, but
and there's
yes.
plenty of that we didn't even
They
mention.
knew this was going on, and they cleared the way to give me a chance. So
They were all not rude. They
No.
all just made it difficult to make them pass.
no, not that.
Every
No,
one
no,
of
they
them.
got
No,
they just
Chrissy,
got out of
not
our
Oh,
that
they
way.
got out of your
They
way.
got out
I'm
of
sorry.
our way.
Okay,
That's
okay,
what I'm
okay.
trying to say. They saw me coming and got out of my way. Like those are the cars that I saw get out of my way.
For those of you who have never or are new to Lemons or have never raced in a Lemons race, in that last hour, you better know who's in the top 5 or the top 10 and who's running hard. And you better watch your mirrors because they're going to be pulling out all the stops in every race, not just this race.
Yeah.
The last hour of a Lemons race, you need your head on a swivel and you need to know what you're doing.
And that goes for every class too.
Every class.
You
need to know who's running
C
for
could
C.
have one lap between them,
Absolutely.
and they're doing everything they can.
Yeah. So
So
who's in what position in that last hour if you're the driver.
So the next to last lap, it bunched up. I got behind the main group, kind of, and was able to stick right on them all the way around. Coming back into one.
I'm sorry, I said 5:13. It was lap 5:11, but yes.
Either way, close enough. I got into the main group. Was running with the main group. The next to it's on the very last lap. I was able to get past the Solara that was P2. Well, actually, it was probably the lap before that I got past the Cressida. Lap after that I got past the Solara, which was this is the last lap. Past the Solara.
And the Solara, well driven all week.
But you don't know
Absolutely.
it's the last lap.
No clue. I know we're getting close. I've got a clock on the dash of the car. I know
Are
we're
they
getting
going to throw
close.
this one or are they going to throw the next one?
No clue. I get past the Solara. I think it was turn like it was 3 or 4. I got past the Solara, and coming in under the bridge, I'm behind the Z, and the Audi's right in front of that. Alex Levinson in the blue Miata makes a lane for me to the right of the Z, and I take it. I get pushed over though by the Z.
You were definitely hit by the Z in a substantial way.
I get pushed over by the Z, and I made a little contact with Alex's car. But it was incidental, just a little bump. But it got me kind of next to the Z. But then he still had the edge coming out of the bowl, or the top of the oval. This is when I said, I've been faking this guy and playing with him all day. I have an idea what he's going to do, so I'm going to take advantage of it. So I stuck to the inside. I was down to third at this point because we were in traffic. I needed everything I had. Up to third on the inside of him, went up almost to the next of him.
Third gear, not third
gear.
in the track.
Yeah, this is when I shifted fourth, second place, right? And so then I, in third gear, start to go almost to the right of the Z, but right before I get actually up to next to him, cut the wheel left hard. Go to his left.
This is on the Thompson Oval.
Yeah.
After the turn.
This is right before we get into turn 9. This is when we're at the end of the oval. I cut to his left, and I have a little more speed than him and get up next to him to be able to start braking. And so I am next to the Z, who is in traffic behind the Audi and some other cars. At this point, the left rear wheel of the Audi falls off and goes between
he hasn't seen this video. I've seen this video.
It goes between me and the Z.
Posted on Facebook. He has not seen this.
All right. So so Jeff's playing the video.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the slow motion of that move.
It is incredible.
Okay.
There's the clock on the dash.
Look at the clock on the dash, folks. It is 5 o'clock.
So I come up to the right of the Z.
See that
shift
him
out.
All right.
I'm sorry if you're not watching on. If you're listening,
then
to the
I go
podcast,
to fourth.
I'm sorry. Check it out
And
on
then
Facebook. It's on.
And then I cut to his left because he's
Holy
expecting me up the
crap.
right. And when I do that, then the wheel falls off the Audi, and you can
There
see
it is, right there next to the iPad.
right in front of me, right?
And he stays on it. He keeps driving that Audi.
Yeah, he stays on it, but I am past him. I pass another car in that corner, and I come into it, and this is when I radio in, the wheel fell off the Audi. The wheel fell off the Audi.
Mental
The
is
only
listening.
person on the radio at this point.
I have one in my hand, but you heard it more.
Okay, is me. And everyone has gathered up on the wall.
Right, there's 100 people waiting to see the check.
to watch the end of the race. And
If
I
that
turn
wheel
around and yell out a guttural scream. And everyone looks at me like, what is the
What?
matter with that man?
What did you say? Wait, the wheel fell off. I think you said the wheel fell off for a long time. You're like, the wheel fell off. And we're like, wait, off of who?
Off of what?
And, right. What? Did our wheel just fall
I
off?
thought it said
What?
the Audi. But
No, you
No,
did, but
I
when
think- but
Mental
I
We
was
didn't
screaming,
have radio.
I knew what you meant and just went, yeah.
I think even if the wheel didn't fall off, I think I had it.
Oh, you were
totes.
I was
Totally had
going
it.
Totally
faster than
passing
he
him.
was. I was in a more advantageous place.
Absolutely.
I think I would have had it.
Yep.
But the
And
wheel
and
falls
Mental's
off.
like,
And then
we won. And I was like, do not.
in my mirror, I look
Johnson's.
up and I see, no, I this is as I'm going through 9 is the
Yeah.
left and 9 is the left and 10 is the right.
Yes.
As I'm through 10, I look in my mirror and I see the Audi spinning in 10.
Yeah.
Like it made it through 9 and then spun in 10.
Yeah.
And I just said, I didn't know if this was the last lap or not. I just stayed on the gas as I'm screaming. It's
Yeah.
on the radio.
But Johnson's is right
behind me.
car
Did you
behind
have any idea he was behind you?
I didn't know I
you
didn't know
didn't
exactly, but I knew he was right there because I
knew
had
he
just
was there
passed him.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am flat out on this thing, up over the hill, doing everything I can. I'm looking at the flag station. I see he's got 2 sticks in his hands, but they're not unfurled. And I go, come on. Like I'm deep in 6th. I'm flat out. Like I'm rocking back and forth to get the car to go a little faster, right? And about a half a second before I cross the line, the flags unfurl. And that's it.
Because
Checker.
they didn't know who the lead car was.
Yeah.
And if
Because
you
they
haven't
were
seen
looking to throw it on the Audi.
exactly.
Because that's
And if
exactly.
you
Because
haven't-
that's what
if-
they thought was coming around. They're like, "Where's the Audi?" I didn't even think about that until right now.
exactly.
Flagger was
And-
looking for the Audi.
And Bobbin has the greatest picture of Eric and the
Hold
other
on, we're not there yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
A half
on,
second
hold
before I cross the line, the flags go out. I'm still flat on the gas. And then I had to look at it in my mirror to see the flags going to make sure I got it. And let's say 1.3 seconds behind me
Yes,
was the Solara.
Wes Johnson's. Yeah.
1.3 seconds.
Seconds. And then what? 40? How many seconds was the Cressida back there?
Like 40 something seconds.
40 something
was the
seconds.
Or
Cressida.
just
behind
like
the
after that,
Cressida.
all that probably that traffic.
Yeah.
And then the Audi was pushed across the line by the Z.
Right.
So you got 4.
Okay, so in the paddock, Mental's flipping out, and I'm like, he's like, we won. And I was like, you wait until whoever comes over that hill first. Like, because we have no idea, right? Like the wheel fall off. And we knew you were in 10, or we said, like, well, you're over there, right? So we're saying, who comes over the line first, right? So we're a spectacle. There are 100 people sitting at the to shake, clap, and wave everybody on, and I'm flipping out, and Mental's screaming, and Jeff is flipping out, and then all of a sudden we say that you're the first for the car. You came before Johnson's because we knew if it was Audi, and the Audi didn't come, we knew that, and then if it was you or Johnson's. And I figured it was going to be like more of a photo finish. I mean, 1.3 seconds is like,
It doesn't get much closer.
No,
It's-
no,
It
but
does not get it.
oh no,
It's the closest finish in Lemons history.
I
It was
know.
875 miles of racing. 1.3 seconds.
I know. So, and of course, so we'll get it over with. So I start crying because I'm just like, I've been hyperventilating and throwing up for the last 2 hours of your stint. And Jeff is like beside himself. Mental.
Jeff is picking up the fence and he's slamming it
Shake
down
I was,
like an
right?
ape, like 4 sections of fence. He's like, ah!
Right. So I start crying, and then he's like, I wasn't gonna cry until
So-
you were crying.
So here's a little in the paddock story. I go over to, this is before Chris wins, like after our fuel stop, and I'm just ejected because I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose at this point. And Manny comes over to me and says, "Man, I'm sorry, it's gonna take an act of God at this point because they're gonna have to brake." And I was like,
As it turns out,
"You're
no,
right."
They
And then
wouldn't have to break.
And my brain immediately said, and I know I was screaming this at the top of my lungs, that wasn't them breaking. Chris broke them. Like, you made them run so hard to stay ahead of you that they used up their car before you used up yours. This is not random. This is them. They knew that they were not faster all day. That's why they blocked for a day and a half.
No
They
doubt.
knew that they had no chance to win on speed, and they had to push their car harder than they wanted to. They had to go 11 tenths. And when you push a car 11 tenths for that long, you're going to screw up or you're going to break it.
I'm pretty sure that somebody told us that they had no brakes at the end, and I think they were only using fourth or something like
Yeah.
that. That their car was beyond hurting, and that was probably not just Sunday afternoon. But if it wasn't that, it could have been something else. But they were
Yeah.
already suffering.
And that's
Whoever-
why
wheel.
Whoever was driving the Z and during my Sunday shift was very good like they were able to go very quickly, but also very good at just stopping at just the right spot and keeping just enough room and making sure they just didn't go off the track. So I actually give kudos for the skills involved. They were just poorly applied.
Yeah, I
Really?
want to mention that there was in the hour 20 minutes or hour and 30 minutes that I watched, there was 100 opportunities for them just to push you into the grass.
Mhm.
And they did not.
Nope.
And I know there's a lot of people who are saying that these are the worst sports out there and these guys are terrible. And I know that I've had fun with these guys in the paddock, and I know that they've been too aggressive and, showered with them with the door open and whatever. This was not the best sportsman-like move, but it could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely.
it could have, but at the same time, I remember getting on the radio and I told Chris, that guy needs to be a little bit more afraid of you. Because right now he thinks that you'll back off on everything. And I think a couple of times Chris let him know this is a line, and I'm prepared to die on this particular hill. Going back to the whole thing too, the Johnson's team, the Johnson's Toyota.
Yeah.
No, they had two cars. One of them was hurting a little bit. It was a new build, so it had the teething problems. The Solara they run, it's always fast, it's always well driven, and they resorted to none of this nonsense at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should tell them what they said on as they passed.
As they were 1.3 seconds, or 1.2 seconds behind
as we pulled
us.
into our paddock after, as coming into the paddock at the end, the guy was like, "Hey, great race out there." I think he said I'm glad it was you guys. So,
and we were prepared for it to be them too, because we were all, they drove a clean,
and have always been clean. But and I want to go back to this just for a minute and say that the reason that blocking is bad, and the reason that bad sportsman-like behavior is bad, is because if we would have had a third car, I would have gone out there and taken him out. And I don't mean I would have hit him. I don't mean I would have killed somebody. But if we had the boat or the hombre in 32nd place, I would have removed the problem, because I do not worry about a black flag.
And this is Jeff, folks. That's not mental. That's the nicest.
No, but I would have.
We said we're not going to play their game.
No, we're not going to play their game, and we would not have played their game. But what I'm saying is, this is why it's dangerous, because if you do something wrong, someone feels okay to do something wrong back to you. And this is how things escalate. This is why people throw in professional baseball. People throw at the head of pitchers because they feel like at pitchers
who are batting.
They feel that he threw at that guy, so now I'm going to try and hit him.
Fair.
When really it was just, hey, so that's why this sport relies on us all being on the same team and having good-natured competition, not bad-natured competition.
And it's a shame to trade community, which is the best part of Lemons, for potentially to try to get a win.
Yeah.
Or to get a better place.
If they'd have taken the driver in that Z and put him in the Audi, might have played out differently.
See, man, he was good. He was good.
The community also seriously showed up. I mean, we're nice people. We have a lot of friends, but we had people that we don't even know help in ways we don't know. There's people that were watching things and trying to keep up with what we were dealing with and helping. So we had the community, and that's why we do this.
Yeah, that's why we keep coming racing, is because of the great people that we met and continue to meet every race. We keep meeting new people that are great. Mm-hmm. So,
and for all the haters out there who are like, screw them, I'm going to punch them in the head next time, because I'm not there anymore. I might have been there that day. I think they should check out AER. I think that's more their style.
AER ain't putting up with that crap.
But I would not do anything to them at the next race because I also understand their mindset. I don't agree. I don't appreciate it. It would never be us. But
not that we weren't tempted, but at every point it would be one of us that was tempted, and the other three would go, "No,
it's not. We're not doing it."
That's not who the three pedal mafia is."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
You won. We won.
And the reason it was so like emotional and so just over the top was because it was so just last second. Everything had to click. Coming from behind, like Eric Root said, it was like the 96 Cubs or no, 2016 Cubs.
Hollywood could not have written this better.
No,
That's why I said this is like the blockbuster. Like we had the highs and lows and a happy ending. Like you can pay for this.
And Aubin was out there taking pictures, and Eric and the other guys, they'd walked out there.
Now it's time for the story. Okay.
And as Chris
Eric and Manny,
Eric and Manny, and as Chris comes across the finish line, someone heard them go, "Oh shit, we've got to go rewrite this," and they had to run back to the paddock because even they weren't expecting this.
Well, it was none of us were, but it was it was the drive of my life. But you all set me up that it was possible. Really, like this, all four of us made this happen.
Incidentally, his entire shift, cool shirt, not working, not at all. Did this all in 100 degrees.
I was kind of hot when I got out and pretty disgusting. I looked like I swam there in my racing suit.
Your suit was so
Kinda
gross.
And it's a really nice lightweight Nomex Alpine Star.
Gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Through a cool shirt. You sweated through a cool shirt.
Oh yeah.
The cool shirt was gross too.
Yeah.
And we've all hinted on it, and we're going to say it again. So everyone that was there, if we didn't thank you or if we didn't notice, we did. We noticed. We're just not smart enough to catalog and organize all of it.
I'm gonna share some pictures here.
Thank you all.
This is
so
Chrissy
much.
crying.
Oh no! Don't put a Chrissy crying picture.
Oh, so
This is mental going. Yeah.
Oh, that was right after
like,
I was
God,
inhaling because I had just done the guttural scream.
Why is my mask?
That one right there.
Oh no!
So,
there it is.
Go back. Go back.
No,
one
Chrissy
more.
doesn't want me to. Chrissy doesn't want me to.
So I showed Vicky the video from Alex Levinson's car.
There they are, going back.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh no!
Change it.
And I showed Vicky the video from Alex Levinson's car, and I'm explaining to her everything that's going on, and she's like, "Wow, those guys are kind of jerks. What happened here? Oh my God." She's like, she got caught up in the emotions of it, not being a racing fan, not caring about any of that kind of stuff. But then she's like, "Wow, that was a really serious win because Chrissy's face, that's an ugly
cry. It is an ugly cry.
and
I had
you should
ugly
have that
cries
made into
too.
coffee
I know,
mugs.
but Bobbin had the camera the right way.
I did not get caught. I was a little teary then, but I got way teary. Like,
oh God, I was so caught up in the elation of the moment, and I turned and I look at Chrissy in tears, and immediately I was with Jeff. I'm like, I'm not crying. You're crying.
No, I was just so,
right
for 2 hours we listened to the emotions of up and down. It was like, there's blocking and we're, can't get ahead.
Don't
and all
do
of a
it.
sudden
Don't
we're like,
do it.
You're right. Hurry. Let's go do the pit stop. We did the
now
pit
we're out
stop.
of gas.
Now we lost. Right now we're watching. We're like, wait, it's coming back. He's coming back. Wait, all the stuff this happens. Like my body can't handle it. Like that's
Chris,
what I was just
remember you called, you said the temperature's 220. And I put on my dejected voice and goes, "Grace, you built the car. It was a good run." Yeah. No, I'm not done.
I kept telling you, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We've had it that high.
It's probably fine.
It could take one more.
It's probably
it
fine.
didn't run real well for the parade. Like it wasn't really idle.
No, but that's
it
okay.
ran better when I went to put it in the trailer though, so that's good. So I'm hoping some more time in the trailer to think about what it did when I pull it out. I'm gonna pull it out and give it a compression test and see.
We'll let you know how it goes.
Happened, right?
Okay, so we won. We got out of the car. We had a fun parade. It was, this is how the paddock goes now. We don't have everybody stand around and accept a trophy in front of a whole pile of people scrambled right next to each other. The parade was awesome.
We got a comment from one of the drivers of the blocking car as we were going by.
Yes, we did.
Sorry about all the blocking.
Yeah.
To which Jeff
Was he
replied
driving
nicely,
the blocking car or the
we
other
don't know.
one?
We don't know.
Unknown.
But yeah,
Jeff
one
replied,
of the guys.
we'll talk about this later. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the perfect response, Jeff, because I was formulating mine, and it was
Oh, no.
much
Yeah.
more Kurt Russell, Snake Plissken style. But
and I have to say that's the guy that I have been most friendly with in the pits. I believe his name is Dan. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Well, and Amanda says that they're actually all really good people, so maybe they just got too red misty. I don't know.
There's some bad blood there anyway. Let's just say that this is not how Lemons rolls usually.
Right.
So-
Let's judge the actions, not the people, until we have reason to judge the people.
Fine, but we had a great time with the parade. I felt like there's a lot of people that were really genuinely happy, not just to see the
we
parade
had a lot
going
of
by.
really enthusiastic
That's what I'm saying.
congratulations and shout outs. It's supposed to be like they go by like, oh, hey guys, yeah, nice job. Like a lot of real enthusiasm to that one. So
Yeah. I mean, we've raced with some of these people for 10 plus years.
yeah.
Fact.
I mean,
And we've been trying to come in second, third, fifth, something for the last how many races. So it's not like it is a well earned run.
Well, we didn't start really trying to win A until like 3 years ago.
Okay, well,
yeah,
we've had a couple
but
races.
We've been trying
so-
for 3 years.
right.
And having all of the problems, turbo cars that run fastest lap and then can't finish the race. We've been in the right
Fuel pump.
car and blown fuel pumps or taken wires in the tire. Sometimes we've just gotten beat by faster cars.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we are not friends with the on Suncock, whatever their name is. What's their names? We don't.
Straight out of Suncook.
Straight out of
They
Suncook.
don't do this anymore. But yeah.
We're not friends with them, but they were great drivers who beat us on the track.
Yeah.
We got beat by Amanda and Momrath several times.
God, yes.
Like, and
Yeah.
we are friends with her. So I'm just trying to say, like, I'll shout out people who have outdriven us, friend and no non-friend.
Oh yeah.
And I think if I had money to bet right now, I would throw it all on the Johnson's Toyota. That it's been a fast car since it got there. It's well driven.
But
with
they've won before, I think.
no, they have not.
Didn't they win in New Hampshire?
No,
I don't
said
think
that
so.
They have not.
their post was second place again.
Again.
They are trapped in the bridesmaids.
Well, and so that's the other thing about this whole race that it's occasionally lost in all this is that, you know, the top 5, maybe more, moved around the whole time, right? So this was never a race. So for the first, you know, quarter of the race, we'll say, Momrath was winning and they were 5 laps up. Chris looks at me and was like, we can't come back from this by speed. We can't do that. Something needs to happen. Promptly after, they lost their clutch and whatever happened to them.
Well,
so
and we always beat Momrath in the pits because we fuel less than they do.
sure,
eat more gas.
but that's
Yeah.
not 5 laps. Like we can't come back from that. And that was early on in the
I
race.
got 4.
and That was when they were pitted, right? If they did a quick pit stop, then they
Right.
would have come back earlier. But it's things like that the top cars were battling the whole time, which makes this just an even better win, but also a great race. You know, that we never knew who was going to win because even just between our 2 cars, we were right there.
Yeah.
So
4 cars were on the lead lap. 3 Pedal Mafia 41, FRS's Ugly Uncle number 99, the Cressida 71 3 Pedal Mafia, and 992 Silly Nannies. Bazinga, who was 3rd, I think, who was right behind us.
They were
starting
behind us
on
all
Sunday.
day. Yeah.
they started
Yeah.
4th because we were
Yeah.
we were in third.
We
So
were
they started
third,
fourth.
they were 4th. They were 4 laps out.
They were on
After
the same
that-
lap as Johnson's when the day started.
When the day
One
started,
lap behind us. Yeah.
After that was the first B class at 509 laps. That was over-engineered racing. They're in the E30. That's
Or no, it's the
WD.
it's an E12.
WD.
It's an 05
Yeah,
series.
sorry.
WD39, which that theme always makes me laugh. Like it's because it's subtle and you have to know just enough to get it.
and,
Also a clean driven fast car.
Oh yeah, nice people too.
and then Scuderia Craptastic 928 in a Ford Taurus SHO. Holy cow, that car!
That car was fast, but it
Yeah.
suffered from Taurus problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
like I would see, when I was doing my shift, I saw him coming. I'm like, I'm not playing this. You go right ahead, buddy, because you got me.
So I want to stop the podcast real quick and move to the on the spot because this is the perfect time to get to it. On the spot, nobody knows that I'm about to ask this question.
Uh-oh.
We know that Betty has had a chance. We know that the Crescent has a chance. What's the next 3-pedal Mafia car, or pick a dark horse that's not a 3-pedal Mafia car that's going to win overall? I'm waiting for Chris. He's not going to answer yet. Go to mental first.
All
Just
right.
here, just the screen.
And I want to know why. You can't just say blah blah blah. Give me the reasons why you think.
I'm going to stick with my earlier prediction of the Johnson's Toyota. They're fast. They're capable. They do great pit stops. They run clean. They run smart. Good drivers. Good people. They're due.
I like your answer. I'm going to go Betty, because I think they want it bad. I think they occasionally wiener step, but I think they're hella fast, and they want it. And I think and especially with a great support team like us, we can do all the block. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. We're not blocking. But we can do all of that we can to help them, and they've helped us a lot. Pit stops, whatever we can do. I think now that we're the support team, I'm going Betty.
Good answer.
I think it's still Mome Rat's race to lose most of the time. Their car is very fast. It is usually very reliable. It is very well driven. It has a big gas tank. They know how to win. I think it's their race to lose until it happens.
I should have said, what's the next new team to win?
Oh.
Because that's what I meant.
No. There are no new teams that are going to. There are no. This series is too mature for new teams.
No, new team. Who is the next winner that is not
that has never won
winner?
Before?
Not a previous.
Right.
winner.
They might have been running for 10 years, but never won overall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. No, I'll give you that.
No, I mean, it's a tough call between any of those, frankly. I mean, Cressida too. Cressida had a great break with the fueling on the full course yellow, but if you get a good break like that, that's all it takes. When the good, clean, consistent driving.
We should mention that they had a mechanical black flag.
Yep.
On Sunday. I think it was early in gym shift, right? So it was about the 2.5 hour mark.
Right. It was 6 laps after I got out of the car.
Their cool suit was leaking.
Garage. Yeah.
Their cool suit was leaking, and they got pulled in because they thought it might be fuel.
Two people, a corner worker and another car, called it in.
Yeah. Oh no, it was leaking. I know. I overfilled it because they told me to. I followed orders.
Yes, you did. You actually did. I remember that was your only job.
Mhm.
But I think there was some communication problem
without that mechanical black flag. It could have been them getting blocked, not us.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If they had been number 2, they would have been getting blocked hard.
Mm-hmm.
And Cressida doesn't quite have the power to push the Z like the Civic did. Not quite. That's where.
And you mentioned that, we all talked about Chris. That was the drive of your life. I would argue that because Jim was in the final shift of the Cressida, I would argue, having been with Jim now for 10 years, that was the drive of his career. He was friggin' on it.
He told me he got a lot out of the track day. And, he's had some hero lap weekends, and he's had some black flaggy, crashy kind of weekends.
Flat spot the tires.
He hasn't done that in a long time. I mean, we were all bad
just
back
one
then.
Goat.
Yes, exactly, just one goat. So Steve, we have talked for years how Steve is not the fastest guy on the team, but will be consistent. So I mean,
never makes a mistake.
Never makes an error.
No.
So I haven't looked at his lap times, but there's no way that car is up there if he didn't go a lot fast. Go fast.
All of those guys consistently were mid-low 130s.
I was surprised Jim got the nod over the car owner. Usually the car owner says, I want to be the guy in the seat trying to win this thing.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah,
I don't think,
but
Eddie, I couldn't have done what
the
you
question
did.
is,
I'll say that.
If we had someone who is faster than you, what would have taken for you to swap seats? Nothing, right?
No, it would. If someone was faster than me, we were that close. Yeah, you go with that one. We've been trying to do this. If I was part of the effort, it's all the effort all goes together, then sure. Yeah.
Dave made that decision. I don't know if he made it. He said he wanted Aaron in because Aaron had missed so many races with fighting leukemia.
Well, and
he
Aaron opened
said,
on Sunday.
and he said, and I want Jim in again.
Yeah.
So there it is. I'm going to throw out there that I think it's Betty also. And no, not because I don't think the Cressida can't do it. I think Betty is as fast, if not faster, than the Civic done right.
Agreed.
And
Totally. Yep.
if they have not stepped on their wiener in a long time. The car has mechanically gotten better, and I think they're due because they've been improving. The Cressida is like top all the time. So I don't know if there is more area under the curve for them to improve.
Not without a significant expenditure of variety of resources, like fitting 245 17s under it instead of the 225 16s it runs, but they have 3 sets of wheels and it works great and it's no problem. Like, so that's a big thing right there.
Or finding 40 more horsepower.
Right. Or losing 100 pounds off the car.
See, and it's all of that mechanical stuff that makes me lean of the 3 pedal mafia cars. Because really there's not much to be done to the Cressida and keep that kind of anvil reliability. And they focused
you're trading speed for reliability, like we did with the Honda. The Honda we just run that thing all weekend. Nobody just cared. We're like, who wants to drive the Honda? Okay, go out. And you go out and it was easy and it never broke. And it was, that was fine. Mm-hmm. Once we then, decided we're going to double the horsepower and, make the wheels, make it wide bodied and arrowed and stupid, then all of a sudden it's hard to drive and, beats you up but it works,
Yeah. So I think while everyone else is making mechanical improvements, the Cressida has focused internally. And I think our focus internally this weekend is what helped us. And I think that's where you stand to gain the greatest is when you start looking at your team.
Yeah. And I don't think 4 hot shoes in the Cressida can find a whole lot more speed in there.
No, I think they could break it. I think they could absolutely. If you put 4 hot shoes in the Cressida, anyway, we say hot shoes. Uncle Dave ain't slow.
No, they're not slow at all.
I'm
saying, like, we go out, we get those Formula One guys that Tom Lamino used to find.
Spec Miata. Didn't you talk to a car full of Spec Miata drivers? Or something?
Exactly. We bring in some of those. I am an SCCA racer, and I will go fast. They're just going to break it and screw it up.
Yeah. That team has figured out how to hang that car right on the edge. Yeah.
As long as they don't play with their Johnson, no problem.
So that's the story. Now y'all know.
I should mention that tonight, after the podcast, I'm going to get the video files and I'm going to edit them together and put some lap times on them and get them on to our YouTube channel, the E1R YouTube channel.
And while you're waiting on that, though, go check out our I Love Pole videos because those are 2 diametrically opposed but hysterical videos. And I should also mention that the Friday night update from Thompson with Chrissy and Jeff got more views than our Thompson podcast episode.
Wow.
On YouTube, which is a shame because I think the Saturday night update is so much funnier.
Because you're in it.
No, actually, I'm not in most of it. But yeah.
I'll just believe you because I wasn't there. I mean, I was over on the side or something.
Yeah, you were yoga stretching to
settle
your nerves.
Donnie is in Saturday night, so it's funnier in general.
So we're also
he makes math jokes.
Tomorrow, check out if you already listened to this on Thursday, we're going to be on Thursday Therapy with Jay and Nick, or one or both of them. So check it out. And if you don't catch it when it happens at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, then it should be, I think it lives on YouTube.
It does.
Probably on Facebook as well. So check it out.
An appropriate time to have it for us on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I just got it.
69. Nice. 3 p.m. Nice.
Oh, So thanks for holding on for this very long show. Appreciate it, all of our listeners.
And again, thanks to everybody who helped us out. There were so many teams out there who thanked us. Thanks for all the love that we got and just everything. We
couldn't have done this alone.
Takes a village.
Totally.
Takes a paddock.
And when the current craziness is over, just, you know what? Everybody that helped us out, come on by the hot tub. It's
a small hot tub. For
exactly.
You can't get in, but you can hang out near it.
It's not disgusting if there's 70 of us. It's totally.
Everyone has one leg and
one like toe
One
at that
toe,
point,
yeah.
right? Yeah, gross. Anyway,
Do you have any idea what we're covering next week?
we're not there
No,
yet.
I barely got through today.
Right?
Oh,
We've got a lot of people that would like to come on, and we'd like to have them on.
That's
We'll
true.
see.
It's true. Our next race might not be until October, right?
Speak for
And we'll
yourself,
do some-
buddy. I got 2 in September if they go.
Okay.
We got some track days coming up, Jeff. Come on, there's a Watkins Glen, there's a VIR, there's stuff
I've
like
not
that,
signed up
so-
for any of those. I know to sign up for some.
Okay.
I'm doing the 24. We're not going to do 24, but we're going to be at the 24 in High Plains with the Inglorious Bastards. And just today, I got an invitation to run the Solstice baby at Button Willow.
Cool.
Very nice. I'm jealous. Anyway, hop on a plane. I can't. The Rona.
Middle seats. They don't sit in the middle seats unless you're on Delta, and screw them anyways.
No, I can't travel to any state that has a restriction, or else I need to take 2 weeks of vacation time to settle out my 14-day quarantine.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
terrible.
Anyway, should I wrap it up?
Please.
You should. You're about to run
Music's
out of
gonna
music.
end.
No, I keep rewinding it. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of we finally won Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. If you're watching on iTunes, hit that button, baby. Go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter, everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, Bill and company, I hope you're listening, because you're about to head down to Charlotte.
They're already on the road. They're on the road.
I know they are. I keep getting texts from keep the shiny side up, unless you don't have a shiny side on that silly truck we sold you. Then just keep the wheels down.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, everybody.
How long does it take?